We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
Joshua Lane, member of the board of directors of Dr. Ann Wigmore's Hippocrates Health Institute, Josh Lane was part of the Dr. Ann Wigmore team that brought wheatgrass, sprouts, and raw foods to a worldwide audience. And now the host of Here's to Your Health on LA Talk Live, Joshua Lane.
We're back. Thank you for tuning in to this edition of Here's to Your Health on the LA Talk Live broadcast network. I'm your host, Joshua Lane. My guest is the dentist, Lori Cardellino. Dr. Cardellino is a dentist here in Southern California and is somewhat controversial in that she feels it's better to have a mercury-free office. Dr. Cardellino, thank you for being on Here's to Your Health today.
Thank you for inviting me.
And so for the audience, for the listening audience, where did you go to school for dentistry?
Temple University in Philadelphia.
Temple. And where did you go for undergraduate degree?
Towson in Maryland. Towson State.
Okay. And so you've been a practicing dentist now for how long, can I ask?
22 years.
And where's your office?
I have two offices, one in Ventura and one in Los Angeles.
Alrighty. And you've been practicing for 22 years. And so I just mentioned in passing that you have a mercury-free office. Is that the correct way to characterize it?
Yep, that's my goal.
And what does that mean to the listeners of Here's to Your Health?
In dentistry today, mercury is 50% of amalgam fillings. The silver fillings in your mouth are 50% mercury. And in dentistry today, we don't speak of the mercury part. The practicing dentists, almost 99% of practicing dentists in America today believe that the mercury in that filling is stable and it's something that they don't have to deal with. They can drill it whenever they want. They can still place it. Mercury is not looked at in the profession as being something you need to respect, something you need to not put in the mouth. And when you drill it out, you must drill it out very carefully. You can't just drill it out and not realize that you are drilling the most toxic element on Earth, the most non-radioactive toxic element on Earth. And when you're drilling that element in the mouth, that must be in the forefront of your thought. And dentists don't even see it. They see it as just stable and not an issue.
Now, when a patient goes to a dentist and they get a silver amalgam filling, you're saying that fully 50% by volume of the silver amalgam filling is the toxic material mercury.
Yes.
Now, is it true that many dentists never complete their careers? They have neurological problems, their hands start to shake, and sometimes the support staff also has problems with toxicity. And doesn't the profession acknowledge that mercury is bad for the dentists?
No,
it does
not.
not.
The profession does not.
Okay. I thought that there was some acknowledgement that let's say you're a patient, you're seeing 12 fillings a day and silver fillings, and the mercury, doesn't it outgas and runs into the air conditioning ducts in the office and cause problems?
Absolutely.
Right. But you're saying that the profession does not acknowledge that as a problem.
The profession does not acknowledge it, nor does the governing bodies of OSHA, who is employee protection. They do not protect the employees. The EPA is the one responsible for protecting the environment, does not mandate that we have environmentally safe workspace, and definitely does not mandate that we must take the mercury out of the water before we pump it out into the municipalities.
Where did you hear the thinking that mercury was problematic? You didn't hear it at Temple University as a graduate student in dentistry.
It's actually where my entire walk with this begins, in sitting in the class in dental school, where the retired dentist that teaches you dental materials the first couple weeks of dental school teaches that if you mix mercury, 50% mercury and 50% of other metals, mix them together, and all of the sudden it goes back to being hard again and becomes stable. And I knew, having a chemistry degree, that that was absolutely not science. And I began to question it in my head, and I just listened. And I just thought when I got out of dental school, it would be different. And here I am 22 years later. I sold my practice, moved west, and I'm still one of the few dentists in Southern California that believe mercury is something that needs to be looked at as a toxic element to the human body.
Let us say, for my listening audience, that mercury is a toxic metal and not desirable, although I'm sure that it's very durable and easy to work with and inexpensive. That's why they use it, right? That's why dentists use it. They feel it's malleable and it does a nice job. Is that what they're saying?
Yes.
Alrighty. And what do you choose to use that you feel does a great job for the cavity, gives you a nice look to the tooth, and has, I'll use the word durability or longevity? What materials do you use, doctor?
It's another piece of the issue is composite materials used in dentistry also have issues with biocompatibility. Composites and plastics are not healthy for the body either. There are very few materials on the dental market that are non-BPA plastics. I personally, for close to 8 years, have been using a material called Diamond Crown. And Diamond Crown is a biocompatible non-BPA polyceram filling.
I see. You know, I hate to say it, I did not know there was BPA in the composite materials, because I had mine taken out in the 80s when I found out about it. And I was also very happy about it because I thought, because when I smile, all you see is a mouthful of white teeth largely, as opposed to like, because the silver amalgam fillings do get dark. They don't, as they age, they get kind of dark. So I was hoping that since the composite materials don't seem to get dark as they age, that dentists would move into that direction without admitting culpability, but they could say, cosmetically, these hold up and they last and they look nice. And
dental school, the black ones are the white ones.
good for you.
Right. Is the population, the basic American population, going to their dentist and saying, I want the white ones. And the dentist not being mercury aware. They are not mercury safe. In other words, there's more amalgam fillings being drilled than ever before because the patients are going in. That is the issue with the dental industry not being mercury safe on an environmental scale. 50% of the amalgam, the mercury that goes into the environment, comes from the only unregulated mercury profession is. That's why this is a world health, world environmental issue.
Well, the way you state it, it makes perfect sense. Now, may I ask, before we went on the air, you mentioned Hal Huggins, the dentist, who is now, you mentioned 85, who was a lightning rod for this discussion in the 1970s, and who, as you mentioned, lost his license for his belief that indeed mercury does not belong in the mouth. Was he one of the principal teachers you had, or one of the men and women you read and decided, oh yeah, this is good science?
Me personally, no, because I was an East Coast. Hal Huggins is a Colorado West Coast. My direct mentor, I was very lucky, blessed in this whole thing. When I first got out of dental school in my town of Baltimore, Maryland, was one of the first guys doing the mercury is bad, Michael Balin. He was my direct mentor. When the State Board of Maryland came in to possibly take his license and he was going to lose his practice, I was the dentist that he chose to take to his practice to teach what he knew. And thankfully, what happened with the work of Charlie Brown, who is a very he's a lawyer that's been in this fight. He has taken this issue not to a state licensing issue. He's the lawyer that goes to the state boards and says you cannot take the license away from a dentist that says mercury is toxic. This is the actual fight that we are still in. And that whole thing is what I came out in 1992. I was a part of that. And now Charlie Brown has made it a world environmental issue. So the United Nations, for the first time in the history of the United Nations, has a World Mercury Treaty. And in 2005, that World Mercury Treaty was going to exclude dental amalgam. And with the work of Charlie Brown, just January of 2014, it was ratified to call for the phase down of dental amalgam, mercury in dentistry. And all of that work was in my backyard. That's when I first came out. Those were my mentors doing that work.
Well, that's very nice.
So,
You're part of that. It's very nice. Yeah, it's very
well,
nice.
that's sort of why I ended up where I am. Where I am now is a founder of the American Green Dental Association, and it's a nonprofit simply teaching dentists mercury awareness on an environmental. Mercury is an environmental problem, and dentistry can absolutely self-regulate by simply learning how to take them out carefully in a very safe way and putting a mercury separator in their office. Dentists can voluntarily call up their dental supply company and have a mercury separator placed on Monday, and 50% of this issue goes away. That's an education issue. That's a dentist education issue. As dentists are talking about if mercury is making people sick and toxic, what person on earth thinks that you should put mercury into the public water supply?
I'm surprised that that's being allowed, because luckily we're in California where they have a reasonably good track record of paying attention to stuff environmentally. It's it's pretty good here, and maybe New York State and California are the leading states in the country, and then after they kind of do stuff, some of the other states fall in line. I don't say that to sound like a bad fellow. I say that because that's what I've seen historically. I am a little surprised they're allowing the mercury just not to be. I mean, they might say, no, it's great in fillings, but we can't just throw it in the water. It's surprising that it's been allowed just to be dumped that way.
Yeah. My first slide, when I speak to dentists, my first slide says the only place on the planet Earth mercury is not considered a toxic waste is in the human mouth. If it's on the laptop, it is toxic waste. If you drill it out, put it into water and pump it out your back door, it is a toxic waste.
Well, that probably catches their attention. And may I ask this question? This is a broad question. So the other dentists that you work with, obviously they're well-educated, well-trained individuals. Are they concerned in the back of their mind for culpability, legal culpability? Are they afraid if there is admission on the part of the profession that indeed silver amalgam fillings are problematic because of the mercury, that there would be lots of lawsuits? Is that the thinking? I've been in this profession. I am a dentist. I have my best friends are dentists. We sit around and we talk. This is a multi-dimensional, how is it possibly happening issue. And the reality of it is the dentist just can't believe that mercury is toxic. How can they not believe mercury is toxic? They know that obviously mercury is very toxic.
And we have a profession that 50% of practicing dentists still choose it as their number one restorative choice. We just recently, New York University began to not teach just that piece. Mercury amalgam, they're not saying it was bad. They just changed their curriculum to say it wasn't the number one choice. And the ADA came in and said, we will absolutely pull your credential. And they went back to teaching.
NYU. They went after NYU. Well, NYU is pretty powerful. If you go after NYU, then the smaller schools would fall in line.
They're back to teaching it's the number one restorative choice. I mean, it's multidimensional as to the why. The why you can talk about forever. That's why I just always, when I'm talking to dentists, I try to get them out of dentistry. Do you know that mercury is toxic? Then World Health Organization has said 0 is the healthy limit of mercury. Have you seen the smoking tooth video? Do you know that there is mercury in the fillings? We're not talking about if it's stable. We're not talking about if it's inert. We're just saying, does it exist? If it exists, then there's a new paradigm from 1840.
Those of you just tuning in to this edition of Here's to Your Health, we're speaking with the dentist practicing here in California, Dr. Lori Cardellino, who is one of the progressive dentists who is working with the idea of using fillings that do not contain mercury. Dr. Cardellino, do me a favor once again. Give me the name of your organization.
The American Green Dental Association.
How do we contact that group?
It's actually brand new.
Okay.
I mean, this whole thing is I am in the middle of how do I help lead this? Mm-hmm. Many of my mentors have been on radio stations and mercury is toxic and we must stop, fight the fight. In my career, I have realized that this is a dentist education issue. I was just a practicing dentist. I went to dental school with a degree. I came out and somebody said, hey, maybe mercury's toxic, and everybody told me no, it wasn't. You get on the internet and you self-educate, just like the people on this radio station, this this show. And the whole concept is, if the dentist has a place where everybody goes and says, okay, let's just learn about the science of mercury. It is a toxic element. That's what I started the AGDA for. And it is brand new. I am just raising money to build the facility, have a teaching facility, nonprofit, that dentists go to learn mercury safety on an environmental scale. Environmental mercury safety. Make it how can anybody disagree with that? There's no human that would put mercury right into the ocean. And every dentist drills it out and pumps it out into the ocean. They just don't know. That's what they're doing. Which brings right back to the education part. Humans are all about survival, and you know, we're all, when you see the smoking tooth video for the first time and you realize that every time you put a drill to a mercury filling, the vapor is right there in your face and you are breathing it.
Both the dentist and the patient.
And the dental assistant.
Right.
And it becomes that, what am I going to do? Just put a mercury vapor mask on. Put a mask on that the people that work in mercury industries, if you work in a facility that uses mercury to make light bulbs or uses mercury to make LCD panels, they absolutely do not go to work with a cloth mask on.
Right.
Dentistry goes to work with a cloth mask on. That's an education issue. That's not debatable. That's just I should put on a mercury vapor mask. If you go onto my website, SantaMonicaHolisticDentistry.com, soon to be Los Angeles HolisticDentistry.com, I'm relocating.
Where to?
Right on Barrington and Wilshire. But I'm actually building a new facility in Ventura, which is where I work. My other website is VenturaHolisticDentistry.com. They're all the same websites as far as education. Mm-hmm. If you go on that website, you will see what is known as Mercury Safe Removal Protocol. It's been around for 25 to 30 years. Right. And that's, you yourself as a dentist have to wear a mercury vapor mask. You have to have the patient breathing oxygen and having a rubber dam on their mouth, so the mercury is not going right into their mouth. The assistant has to wear a mercury vapor mask. The room has to have the, pulling away of the vapors into a mercury vapor filter. Very easy to implement. One day you can learn all of this as a dentist. So it's not a financial commitment. It's not a big, long education commitment. It's a 10-minute conversation of mercury's toxic. Jump on this bandwagon of mercury safe removal. Every dentist drills mercury every day.
Do you have a circle of friends in the dental profession who support you on this?
I am 2 generations from that. It's the Hal Huggins, Michael Balin, the original founders of all of this. David Kennedy is very famous. He's the guy that shot the smoking tooth video. He's a wonderful mentor. The main organizations are the IABDM.org and the IAOMT.org. And that's where, if you think you want to be a holistic dentist, or if you just want to learn about mercury safe removal, you go and join those clubs. Then you begin to learn the mercury really is toxic. Protect yourself, protect your patients, protect the environment.
So we are in Southern California, which is, in general, a progressive area for wellness, which is one of the lovely things I like about Southern California. Is your practice in Ventura and in Santa Monica thriving with patients who think, yes, Dr. Cardellino is on the right ideas, we wish to go to her? Are you thriving?
Every dentist is a person. Every person has their own story. I'm thriving because I am seeing the patients that need to see me.
Right.
Do I have a 4-story huge multi-million-dollar dental facility that's making big money right now, right, which is how dentistry defines thriving?
I see. Yes, okay.
Right? I have slowed down and changed my career. I had a practice for 20 years that I sold and moved west. At the age of 40, I had a baby boy who's now 10. I'm back to work, and my back to work has become this nonprofit teaching facility. That's my focus. But that being said, my Santa Monica practice and my Ventura practice, I am busy every week seeing people that need this work. Everybody agrees there is one contraindication in dental school that you learn for who don't you put mercury fillings in. As absurd as this is, the number one and only contraindication is an allergy to mercury. Now, first of all, I would love to see the one human that's not allergic to the most toxic element. But the point of that is everybody in dentistry, everybody in the medical model knows there is that 12.5% of the population. Some call them sensitive, some call them the outliers. The science is they just don't have the enzymatic profiles to deal with toxic elements. There are really sick people in our population.
12.5% actually is actually a lot of people.
Right.
Yeah, it's a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's interesting that the profession would acknowledge that larger number.
That's a medical statistic. Those are the people that are out of the bell curve.
I see.
That's the 12% outliers. Those are that percentage of people have been looking for why am I so sick their entire life. So very early they find, hopefully, the dental counterpart of their health. Being a holistic dentist and a biocompatible dentist for 20 years, I get that patient. I get very sick people that are sick because of their amalgams and their other dental issues.
Right.
So I'm not really the just drilling out single filling,
Gotcha.
getting mercury out. That being said, too, I do that way more than I should be doing it. I've been doing this 20 years. I have a lot of education in homeopathics and naturopathics, and I want to every day be working on very sick people that need extremely sensitive work, biocompatibility, energy testing, all that. The general dentist, the guy that's going to work every day removing one filling because a patient comes in with a cracked filling, that's where this issue has to become. That's where the issue lives for humanity. That's the only way to affect the issue. That's the 50% of the mercury going out into the environment are the 150,000 practicing dentists daily. That's why I decided to go the nonprofit education. This is not about holistic dentistry and healing and alternative health. And that's where I went as a practitioner because I wanted to help my patients the best. But this issue is about the general public being aware that the dentist is not aware of this issue. That's where I went down the education through the nonprofit, just the idea of educate the dentist about this issue. That's where you make the big effect.
Is there any legislation pending? Do you have any friends in the legislature? Are you friends with Jerry Brown that you can move this forward? Because I'm not making a joke here, because obviously, this is a very rough issue, and no doubt sometimes you feel very isolated, thinking, well, I'd rather just go to the beach and not worry about all this. Is there any kind of movement of front? Could things get better in 2 or 5 or 10 years? I'm just asking.
Lots. Yeah, lots. That's a lot of wonderful stuff that's happening. The work of Charlie Brown. The United Nations World Mercury Treaty has called for a phase down of dental amalgam. The World Health Organization has stated 0 is the healthy limit. There are 3 city councils in California that have banned the use of dental amalgam within their city limits. This is all the work of Charlie Brown.
That sounds very very promising. What city? Do you know what cities those are?
I know Malibu because I was there, and I know Costa Mesa because it was the first one. The third one.
Costa Mesa.
Costa Mesa was the first
one.
In
other words, they said to dentists, you can use mercury, but you have to trap it in the office. You can't just throw it in the water.
I do believe, and this is the issue about this. We have the United Nations. We have the World Health Organization. We have the city councils. We're a medical profession. We self-regulate. None of that can actually stop a dentist from using mercury.
I see.
The city council, I believe the way it is written, is within the city limits. You are not allowed to buy or sell or place dental amalgam, and you're not allowed to have a dental practice that doesn't have a mercury separator. But they can't enforce it. The city council cannot go into a dentist and pull their license because they don't. That's the wall that Charlie Brown hit.
Oh, I see.
Charlie Brown saved dentists from losing their dental license, one dentist at a time, because they said mercury was bad. That was all of the 80s and 90s. Then he went city council. Then he went FDA. The FDA finally changed the classification of amalgam. This is an hour show in itself, the history of this. The FDA came way after the ADA, way after dentistry, 50 years. So the whole mercury was in the population before FDA approval and that whole scenario. The FDA just in the past 2009 started it just recently, have changed it from a class 1 to a class 2 classification as a device. That means instead of it being floss, it's more like a dental drill. The big thing right there is if they would have gone class 3, That means that the people that make dental amalgam, the mercury, have to prove that it's healthy to put in the body before getting approval. That would make it a class 3. The FDA just made it a class 2. And that's the whole, who is protecting us from this? Obviously no one. 50% of practicing dentists still place it. Less than 1% remove it safely.
Right,
no
1%,
one is protecting the world and the population from this issue.
Well, Dr. Cardellino, this is very interesting and somewhat upsetting, too, actually, to hear about, actually. Once again, do me a favor. Please give me your contact information in Ventura and in your office here in L.A.
The best one is VenturaHolisticDentistry.com. That's the one where the patients can educate themselves, see the smoking tooth video, see the piece we haven't talked on yet that's very important. The body has an acupuncture meridian flow to it. If you have toxic elements on a tooth, you have toxic elements going to corresponding organs. That's
Right.
a big eye opener. Right. Oh, well, maybe it's toxic. Oh, now there's a meridian system involved. My website has those big things: smoking tooth video, organ tooth correlation, and a video on what the dental operatory has to look like when you make the choice to have these mercury fillings removed from your mouth.
Right. When I was, we're running out of time? No. When I was a young man, Nixon went to China, and he brought Harrison Salisbury of the New York Times with him and a whole contingent of reporters. And I think Harrison got sick with appendicitis, and they couldn't fly him back to San Francisco. So they took his appendix out in China, and they gave him acupuncture, which, in 1970, that was really seen as voodoo. Now young people kind of laugh, but in 1970, people said, "Oh my God, what is this?" People were very dismissive. The authorities were very dismissive. But Harrison Salisbury, being a very important fellow, writing for the paper of record in the United States, the New York Times, wrote about they successfully took his appendix out with acupuncture, using it instead of anesthesia. And because it was Harrison Salisbury, it made the New York Times. And then the MDs in this country, who had been very dismissive, they said, they worked out a new theory for use of acupuncture. They said, well, acupuncture, it must be a wave gate theory. And really, it's 2014. If anyone listening to the show is 20 years old or 30 years old, and they hear me carry on, they think, boy, it kind of seems like about the Middle Ages back there. And it didn't seem like the Middle Ages of 1970, but in retrospect, the population has gone a long way when it comes to wellness. It's really moved a long way. In 1964, Surgeon General's report came out about cigarette smoking is bad. 43% of the American adults smoked at that time. Mm-hmm. Now it's 18%. Really? That's a monster step forward. It's a monster step forward. It just takes a long time.
And I must jump in here. Yeah. The MD that did the work, Yoshiaki Omura, he was my direct mentor. He was the guy that did Buy Digital O-Ring. And guess who the biggest population of people that listened to him and where he taught in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s still?
Where?
Holistic dentists. Because we are medical professions that when we realize the acupuncture meridian system is a part of the of the whole system, and you begin to study it, Omura that's when you learn that, it changes your whole perspective on how the teeth affect the health.
Well, Dr. Lori Cardellino, a practicing dentist in Ventura and here in L.A., it's been a delight to have you on the show with this intelligent discussion of the problems associated with mercury in the silver amalgam fillings. I would like to invite you back again as a guest.
I would love that. Thank you.
You've been listening to Here's to Your Health on the LA Talk Live broadcast network. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back after these important messages.
We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
It started out like a totally normal day.
I love you.
I mean, I guess I was a little sweaty and I was definitely sore. I thought I had gas. Turns out I was having a heart attack. Heart disease is the #1 killer of American women. So now I take care of myself and tell the other women in my life to do the same. Make it your mission to save your life and the lives of the women you love. Find out more from the American Heart Association at goredforwomen.org.
Hi, I'm Onyx Monopoly, inviting you to join me every Monday at 11 a.m. for my new show, Hooked on Onyx, spreading motivation and inspiration through wisdom, experience, and music. So don't forget to tune in to Hooked on Onyx, Mondays at 11 a.m., exclusively on LATalkLive.com, the LA Talk Broadcast Network. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio, TuneIn Radio, Live 365, Radio Flag, and AHA Radio, or watch and listen directly at LATalkLive.com. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening and viewing pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hi, this is Dr. Levi, your fitness doctor, making a personal house call, inviting you to join me Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific for my all-new show, The Dr. Levi Show. Join us as we discuss fitness, health, and well-being, including emotional and spiritual health. So don't forget to tune in to The Dr. Levi Show every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific, exclusively on LATalkLive.com and the Talk Live Broadcast Network. You can also catch us on iTunes, Radio R&B, or watch us on Ustream.tv, or catch us on the Live 365 network, and now on Radio Flag and Stitcher Radio. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Joshua Lane, member of the board of directors of Dr. Ann Wigmore's Hippocrates Health Institute, Josh Lane was part of the Dr. Ann Wigmore team that brought wheatgrass, sprouts, and raw foods to a worldwide audience. And now the host of Here's to Your Health on LA Talk Live, Joshua Lane.
We're back. Thank you for tuning in to this edition of Here's to Your Health on the LA Talk Live Broadcast Network. I'm your host, Joshua Lane. My guest is one of my regular scientists on the show, Joss Daniel. Dr. Hans Kluger has interviewed him several times on some topics that are way beyond me, but Hans understands, and Hans seems to like Joss Daniel, or we would not invite him back on the air, and I rely on Hans. And so Joss is back on the air. Joss, welcome to Here's to Your Health once again.
Thank you.
And you always have some very interesting, very contemporary scientific ideas about wellness.
Right.
And so today we're discussing human growth hormone.
Correct.
And for my listening audience, what is human growth hormone?
Well, that's the biggest thing every celebrity, everyone wants. Human growth hormone is what, when it's produced by us naturally, large amounts when we're younger, then it declines as we grow older, is why we age. So the more, if you have HGH production up, you'll stay looking young much longer. Less wrinkles, increased muscle tone, and healthy hair, complexion.
Okay, that's human growth hormone.
Right.
And so now, human growth hormone by definition is an injectable, correct?
Correct.
So that's a pharmaceutical product.
There's two. You produce it naturally, and also I think it was around the 50s, 60s they began synthesizing. Before they were able to synthesize the synthetic version, they would. I mean, it's actually kind of gross. They would actually pull it out of cadavers and inject it into professional Olympic athletes to give them that next cutting edge.
And may I ask you a question?
Sure.
So of that technology of that era, was that successful?
Oh yeah, it worked. They wouldn't continue to do it if they didn't get the results that they were looking for. Right. Then they finally figured out a way to synthesize it. So then that became the big boom, where a lot of wealthy people who want to stay young looking, more so they need it for the career models, professional actors, and so on.
And what years are we talking about now when they stopped using cadavers and they moved to synthesize it? Was this in the 80s and 90s?
No, that was earlier. I think in the 50s, 60s, somewhere.
No kidding.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Mhm.
And then somewhere in the 70s, they figured out a way to synthesize the synthetic form, and then that began where you'd pay a doctor to inject it, the synthetic form. Now that has mixed reactions. You do get the performance, but the problem is it's like steroids when you're injecting something like that, and your natural human growth hormone, which you normally produce, then would drop because your body's recognizing you have all this synthetic, but your body doesn't know. It just sees growth hormone in there. So then, since your natural starts, then you're in a weird way. You better not stop getting the injections because now your system's kind of off.
And now I know Hans Kugler has talked about that problem.
Right.
And I think Hans has a protocol. He likes to do 4 days on, 4 days off for some of the nutrients, medications he uses.
Well, now you don't have to worry about any of that.
Really?
And now normally to get HGH injections, you have to go to a doctor, pay the doctor visit, pay, it could be around, $1,500 a month just for HGH injections. Now there's a new product, which we're right here, Growth Factor 9 by Novix Biotech, where it's all natural product, which it sets up it's an incredible formula. I mean, I only bring the cool things here.
No, you have a good track record so far. Yeah. So what's in this Growth Factor 9? Yeah, it sounds a little bit like a horror movie, kind of a low-end horror movie. Growth Factor 9, okay, what's in this product?
It's a combination of, God, I could talk for hours on. I love this product, about this. There's a combination of, there's a massive amount of research. That's why I love this product, because there's so much research based on it.
It's a combination of amino acids, is that
right?
What
It's a combination of amino acids, and here we go, right here. L-lysine, L-arginine, oxaproline, N-acetyl, L-cysteine, and L-glutamine. And each one of those, they're blended in a proprietary way, in a very unique process that no other companies I've ever come across done it this way. So, and I can go into each detail why and how these are there.
Well, L-glutamine is the most abundant amino acid in the body, and all the athletes use L-glutamine very successfully.
Right.
And largely, most of us could do about 5 grams a day, and you get strength and focus, and you're not hungry, and it moisturizes the skin and heals stomach ulcers. So L-glutamine's great. The one I don't know is what's oxyproline?
Yeah, no, the reason why they put these in here, all of these set in a precursor chain reaction to increase HGH, your own body's natural HGH, which is fantastic.
Alrighty.
So you get all the benefits of HGH, including great sleep. Since I've been using this product, my dreams are unbelievable.
All right.
Get really deep sleep. So your question on oxyproline is a good question. Where did I? Oh, here we go.
Alrighty, oxyproline. We're waiting.
That one. I don't know. I'm sorry.
Okay, and that's not a problem because I want the people listening to the show. I mean, I have a certain track record established here. Now, obviously, lysine's a great antiviral.
Right.
Arginine's been used for nitrous oxide synthesis. Bringing it to the body, improve circulation. So I recognize some of these nutrients. And by the way, I have a question too about this Growth Factor 9. What's the track record of this company? Do you know these?
Oh yeah, no, they've been around for a long time, and they're an extremely large company. They're based out of Salt Lake City. They just moved into a huge warehouse. No, actually, they have clinical trials where it actually has increased HGH levels by. I mean, this is peer-reviewed clinical trial by 682%.
Okay, that's a significant number.
Yeah.
And if a man or woman, say over the age of say 50, takes this product, uses capsules, what can they expect and when?
Pretty fast. The best is if they started doing it every day for 3 months. They'll notice a ramp up period.
All right, 3 months. Okay, fine.
But usually the first week, a lot of people I've noticed who started using it. I mean, the obvious one is better skin tone, decreased wrinkle production. After 3 months and you start moving to the 5 months, not years, but you start getting like decades younger. It's pretty remarkable.
Alrighty. And now, by the way, where do you have your degree? Where'd you go to school?
I went to St. Francis University.
Here in Ojai?
No, this is in Pennsylvania.
And you have a bachelor's degree in what?
in business management.
And do you have a master's degree?
No.
So you
Well, but what I've done, I have I got another degree in computer science.
Where?
Also at St. Francis, and I went to a lot of different other universities and schools, but what I did is kind of like the Steve Jobs way. I just found the best classes where I wanted on the specific subjects and just took the classes.
No, that seems fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm just asking this question just to get a sense of your interests, because you've been on the show. This is your third appearance on the show.
Right.
And again, you've kept up your end of a conversation with Dr. Hans Kugler,
Right.
a PhD in chemistry out of Stony Brook,
Yeah.
who wrote the first book on anti-aging published in English in 1974. So he's an important fellow. He knows science, and he's happy to chat with you.
Right.
So that's why I have you on the show. But I do want to establish for my listening audience that you have an interest in these kind of progressive technologies.
I've been obsessed by it, and I travel all over the world, and wherever the most new, innovative, cutting-edge thing is, specifically for anti-aging, bioenergetic health, genetic medicine, I track down whoever the experts or the latest research and study it all.
And the Growth Factor 9, how long is this on the market?
It's a relatively new product. I just found out about it at the A4M show where Hans was there.
A4M, tell my audience what that is.
The American Academy for Anti-Aging. It's like the premier medical body for anti-aging medicine. A lot of doctors go there for the yearly conference.
That was in Las Vegas about
Right.
3 or 4 months ago?
Correct.
5 months
Yeah.
ago? Right.
And I met the representatives from the company. That I always am checking, scouting everything. I have
Sure.
a unique knack of finding the coolest lady. And I saw the booth and was talking to the people there and and I was really impressed by all the research they had. I mean, when I saw 600, I think it's 682% increase in HGH, I thought, well, this is incredible. And the product around $100 retail. So $100 a month, you're increasing your HGH levels by over 600%. And you're not injecting a synthetic HGH in your body, which is fantastic because one is you don't have to spend over $1,000 a month and take the time to go see a doctor to put a needle in you. This you just take the capsules, once a day. It has to be on an empty stomach, 2 hours empty stomach. You can do water, but one key thing I noticed the effectiveness. Either when you first wake up, take them and don't eat any food for 2 hours, or after your last meal, wait 2 hours before you go to bed. I personally like to take it the 2 hours after the last meal before I go to bed because it enhances your dreams.
Alrighty. Now, I noticed that there's arginine in the product, and while arginine has its promoters, there has been controversy about the use of arginine because there's an arginine-lysine ratio, and when the body's under stress, you have a tendency to form cold sores because of the ingestion of arginine. That's why if let's say you're busy fighting with your mom, then you wouldn't want to be eating a lot of almonds because nuts and seeds are all high in arginine to the lysine ratio and promote cold sores. Do you have a problem with the product that promotes the use of arginine?
No. A lot of people, who actually have herpes, if they eat walnuts or things like that, that would actually aggravate the.
Will this product aggravate them?
I haven't. No, everyone I've seen that has had that situation has had no problems.
And I think I've read a number that possibly as many as 80% of the population has a tendency towards cold sores. Anyone who had chickenpox possibly has a tendency. So it's really pretty
shingles.
much all. Well, shingles like the rest of us, but pretty much 80% is like a big significant chunk of the population.
Right. Now another key factor is it has L-lysine in it, which
antiviral.
Right. So people have herpes outbreaks or things like that. They should take L-lysine. So
that's the promotion. The wellness approach is 3,000 milligrams of L-lysine will normally help suppress the cold sores almost immediately.
Right. So that seems to counteract any effect the L-arginine may have for causing the other side of the equation you're just talking about. Now the really interesting thing about this is there's a growth hormone called somatostatin. I just learned about this one. I'm always learning. Somatostatin. And it's a peptide. It's a peptide. And actually what that does is decreases your HGH production. Mm-hmm. So
and what is a peptide?
You have it's similar to it's basically your body's information carrier. Mm-hmm. So it's basically the way your body sends information to the different glands to produce hormones. That's the short, easy way to understand it. Now, the key thing is this product has an ingredient in here that seems to inhibit the somatostatin production, which is a good thing because when it inhibits that, then your HGH levels can go higher. That somatostatin tends to push down HGH production.
Mm-hmm.
So the way this is formulated inhibits the somatostatin, so then it goes back up, which is a very good thing. And it also has ghrelin, which is actually a hunger hormone. Ghrelin is a peptide, another communicator in the body, which is it's the leptin hunger cycle. So what this does also helps decrease appetite and hunger.
Right.
So that helps, see. And
would you say mostly just the L-glutamine doing that?
Probably, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's now they have a proprietary formula on here, which I don't know the exact how it's blended, but.
And these fellows in Utah, do they have any kind? Are they a couple of PhDs from the local universities there? A couple of MDs? I mean, who's on the board?
I don't know all the details. I mean, I'm still just learning all about the company, but it's a very large, successful company.
Alrighty.
They have
Is this multi-level?
No.
Okay.
No, it's just wholesale retail, and
I have no problem with multi-level, but sometimes multi-level, they can be a little shaky. They kind of come and go.
Yeah.
And, everyone makes $1 million on every sale, and so I kind of, I shy away from that. That's all.
Yeah, I know they just moved in. I think I was talking to some of the people over there. They were just moved into some huge new 200,000 square foot facility.
Okay.
So it's an
Well, that's a good size facility.
Yeah, and they have a large product line. I mean, they have more than just this. But this is my favorite one right now.
Mm-hmm.
We can talk about the other ones later. But the fact of how it's increasing HGH production is pretty interesting.
Alrighty. And what's it selling for? Can you tell me?
Oh, retail $100.
Mm-hmm.
So
and where's this available?
Maybe at your store.
Well, is that a lot of different? It's not at my store yet. Is it at lots of different stores?
Well, yeah, you could just type it in on the internet, and there's all kinds of stores all over the place selling it.
Okay.
So that's you just type in growth factor 9 and.
And how many capsules a day do I take?
You want to take 4.
Alrighty.
Yeah, each bottle comes with 120, so that should be 1 bottle for 1 month. Supply says $100 a month, which is, that's normal. People who get really good HGH injections. You're talking about $1,500 a month.
Right.
So reduce that to $100. That's a very good deal.
Okay, very good. Well, for those who are just tuning in, we're chatting with Dr. Hans Kruger's favorite mad scientist, Dr. Joss Daniel, and who went to St. Francis and works with computers. And is this the only product you're familiar with that really is good for human growth hormone?
I've tried everything. You name it, I've seen everything.
So
now, this is a little different for me because usually I'm into quantum mechanics and it's going at things through the energetic formulas. But I found this one, and I've tested just about everything. Oh, they also did a sleep study too. They had generated data on this. People fall asleep faster, deeper dreams, and the big part they actually have a PowerPoint here, but the main activator is it works by using the hypothalamus by sending in this unique blend into the through the system to the body into the hypothalamus. Then it releases this somatostatin, which then goes to the pituitary, which is the master gland, which sends out all the correct signals to the thyroid, and then the thyroid sends out one increase. Well, actually, it allows the HGH levels just to rise back up to their normal levels because the somatostatin hasn't been dampened. And it also has a TSH secretion, which that's a thyroid stimulating hormone. So then it helps even more. It basically is just out of everything I've seen. Normally, I'm into I'm not too much into the chemistry side of it. I'm more into the quantum mechanics. But everything I've seen out of traditional, pills, capsules in a bottle that I've tested, this is the most remarkable for if you're looking for anti-aging, this thing.
Okay, that's impressive.
Yeah.
You've been listening to Here's to Your Health on the LA Talk Live Broadcast Network. I'm your host, Josh Lane. Joss Daniel has been our guest. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back after these important messages.
Thank you for tuning in to LA Talk Live, reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we're more than just talk. Stay tuned.
Hi, this is Elena, inviting you to join me every Wednesday at noon for Elena's Beauty Talk and more, exclusively on LA Talk Live. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio, R&B, or watch us on Ustream.tv. Reality radio, handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hi, this is Starlet Quarles, and I'm inviting you to join us every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. for a new show right here on LA Talk Live, The Dialogue, Real Talk, Real People. Join us as we discuss the topics that are relevant to today's generational leaders. So don't forget to tune in to The Dialogue, Real Talk, Real People, every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. right here on latalklive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B, Live 365, Radio Flag, and now Stitcher Radio. Or watch and listen directly at latalklive.com. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hey, this is James Kinney, inviting you to join me every Thursday at noon for the Business of Business. Join us as we discuss success and how to reach it. Listen, don't forget to join me every Thursday at noon Pacific Standard Time for the Business of Business, exclusively here on LA Talk Live. Hey, and don't forget, you can also catch me on iTunes Radio R&B, Radio Flag, TuneIn Radio, Live 365, AHA Radio, TiVo Radio, and Apple TV Radio, or just watch and listen directly at latalklive.com, where we are more than just talking. Murked it.
Hi, this is Dawn Christie, inviting you to join me every Friday, 1 p.m. Pacific, for my all-new show, The Dawn Christie Show. Join me as I discuss love, spiritual readings, your purpose, why am I born, what am I here to do. So don't forget to tune in The Dawn Christie Show at 1 p.m. Pacific, exclusively on LA Talk Live. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B or watch us on Ustream TV, reality radio, handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
It started out like a totally normal day.
I love you.
I mean, I guess I was a little sweaty and I was definitely sore. I thought I had gas. Turns out I was having a heart attack. Heart disease is the #1 killer of American women. So now I take care of myself and tell the other women in my life to do the same. Make it your mission to save your life and the lives of the women you love. Find out more from the American Heart Association at goredforwomen.org.
Hello, how are you today? My guest, this is Yvonne Beauvais, and I am the co-host for Josh Lane's Here's to Your Health. I'm the wellness correspondent, and I have an awesome guest today, and her name is Denise Rousseau, and her company is called Top Secret, and her product is called the Hairccessory. And I've been to Denise's studio, so I have to tell you, she does amazing work, and she's very talented, and she has something that a lot of people don't consider wellness, but as a woman, I think it's top priority. This Top Secret is top priority for women in the area of wellness.
You might help.
So Denise, tell me a little bit about Hairccessory to start, and then I'm going to have some questions I'm going to shoot at you. But we've got a Hairccessory right next to me over here. This is a hairpiece, and would you tell me really how you developed it and what was the motivation behind it?
Well, I developed Top Secret Hairccessory for the rigorous demands of Hollywood, working on the movie sets and in television. I started doing, I was probably one of the first pioneers of hair extensions, and I found that with the traditional hair extensions, most women, and whether they're actresses, pop divas, they always need volume on top. So that's how I came to develop the top pieces.
So what is the most important thing for you, Denise, right now? Because I know that your career has taken transitions. I think you shared with me that you've been doing this for 20 years. And so you have a new motivation, really, with your hair accessory. You've come out of the film industry. You've worked with all the stars, because you cannot have a bad hair day when you're a star. But women can't afford to have a bad hair day because most women are very busy today. So what's the most important thing that you'd like to talk about today regarding hair accessory?
Well, I just want women to know out there that they're not alone. And as we age, our body starts to change. And I want women to know that they can age gracefully and have an option out there that they don't have to be confined to, the old-fashioned wigs that are uncomfortable and hot. I've created this product that's lightweight. It's undetectable. It blends right in with your hair. And it's a wow factor. Once you snap it on, you look 10 to 15 years younger. Oh, yeah. And that's what women want. I mean, as we get older, we have all these different anti-aging things, and I want to let women know that they don't have to hide anymore. And there's things that they can sprinkle on their hair to diffuse the baldness or cover up the gray. Well, in a couple of snaps, it's a wow. It's a $25,000 facelift. So I just invite women to know that there's other options out there for them.
Well, I was in her studio one evening, and I watched her transform at least 4 women that night who came in with their own hair, which was not unattractive, but didn't have the volume that all women desire to have. And I watched you completely transform them from one woman to another. I was really impressed. And I know that women have certain attitudes about their hair, so what do you think that they need to adopt as far as how they see themselves? What do they need to let go of, and what do they need to embrace to walk into this new modality? Because I realize it has a lot to do with how a woman feels about herself. It's really wellness and self-esteem.
Absolutely. We travel around building our brand and do various women's expos and even the hair shows and skincare shows. And I find that the hardest thing for women to let go of is just to sit down and have an open mind and try it on to see how well it fits and how comfortable it is, and to know that there's other things out there that, we can cover up those gray roots in between visits to the salon, and we can, make their hair longer. We can add volume, or we can do both in a matter of a few snaps. So the hardest thing I think is, for women is to let go of the old, feelings about, I'm going to be confined to a wig and hiding behind, I've had women, say to me, I don't want to go out of the house. I have to wear a hat all the time, and I feel insecure. When we put this on, and we do all the customizations there at the studio to make it match so their hair blends into it. I mean, I'm wearing one now. It's kind of hard to tell.
You can't tell at all.
because I'm wearing this headphone, but if I didn't have this headphone, I'd rip it off right now. But I'm wearing several, and I wear them every day, and they're lightweight, they're comfortable, and even being in California, they're not going to be any hotter than your own hair. And I'm going through the change of life right now.
Well, you don't look at
menopause and breaking out into hot flashes and and all the other things. It's not any hotter than your own hair. So that's one thing that's nice about it.
Well, I know that there's a lot of reasons why women are losing their hair. I mean, we know that hormones have a lot to do with it. The heavy metals that people have in their bodies these days due to environmental toxicities and things that have been ingested,
yes,
including dental amalgams that have an effect. GMO foods and chemicals in the foods. There's so many, and stress is a
thyroid issues.
Yes, and stress.
Yeah, alopecia, trichotillomania. I mean, the list goes on. And other women need to know that they're not alone. There's over 40 million American women right now that are suffering from some sort of thinning hair.
Right.
And it's just bringing awareness to women. And letting them know that there's other things out there for them to help them improve their lifestyle.
Right. So I'm looking at this beautiful hairpiece next to me, which is a long hair piece. And when I was at your salon, I saw all the different styles and the lengths of hair that you offer, including just top pieces and extensions that you can add to your hair. So I know that underneath here is a little clip, and it just clips kind of to the frontal part of your hair. So if you would give us a little description and what you do to cut it and frame it to a person's face.
Yeah, so we have many styles. We have them from 5 to 6 inches up to, 22, 24 inches in length. We have different sizes of bases. I just came out with a new small base it's about this big. And it's for that woman who doesn't want a lot of hair. It comes about 5 inches, and we have 27 different colors, including gray pieces. So we have a variety. We have crown ponytails. We have the extensions in 3 different lengths because every woman's different.
Yes.
And we have 27 colors. So we can go in there, including highlights, and we can go in and low light it. We can add dark to the root base. Like, for instance, this is a California blonde. But if you look at the base of it, it looks, to me, wiggy, but I'm used to up close camera ready for my actresses, and everybody, even if their hair is heavily highlighted, they still have a little bit of a fade on their root. So we allow for customization to where we can go in and paint up that root and make it a little darker. This particular piece that I'm wearing, I ombra'd it. I wanted something different, and this is the only part of my hair that I highlight. And so I can change my color completely as long as the roots match up. So sometimes I have more highlights on. I change it up, whatever my mood is. So it's just like changing your underwear, girl.
So can a woman, let's say she's had a particular hair color her whole life, can you actually color it yourself to match, or is it just the stock colors that you have?
Oh, no. As the designer, I've created so many fun colors, and the trends are always changing. So, and most women don't have one solid color of hair. We use the best quality. All of our hair pieces are hand tied, one hair at a time. So it takes about a week to complete a hair piece, and it takes like 1.5 to 2 days, depending on my ventilator, to actually hand tie the piece. So we make the hair and all the cuticles running in the right direction. They're not going to mat up and tangle. Right. So it's an investment. We want it to last for them. So therefore we can go in and change up the color and darken it a little bit. We don't recommend putting bleach on it because that's going to damage the hair. I get a lot of clients and guests that have suffered from the traditional hair extensions, right? And or over-processed hair, or the list goes on. And this is something that is not going to damage your hair. You can change the color of it and just let your hair be pretty much natural.
That's awesome.
And also, for women, a lot of women get it because they have that gray line coming in every 2 weeks.
Yes.
And they want to have that youth. They could just take a small piece and cover that up, and it saves not only time, but it saves money. And the effect that it has on one's self-esteem is immeasurable.
Oh, that was going to be my next question to you. I was going to ask you that what changes and impact do you think that this brings to a woman's sense of well-being and her sense of self-esteem? So you were right ahead of me. I was right there. I was going to shoot the question to you. So tell me how what you've seen. It's not even what you think. It's what you've actually seen in the lives of these women.
I'm still amazed with this product. I'm so passionate about it, but I'm still amazed how it affects one. I mean, they come in feeling down and frumpy, and they leave like with a new sparkle, a new lease on life, and awesome. They go from frumpy to fabulous in seconds. And it just helps us, age gracefully, and that's what we all want. Right. We all want to, feel like the new 60 is the new 40. And with all these great products out there today, I can honestly say, and being in business for 14 years, that we can help you in your lifestyle.
All women want to be fabulous. I don't care what. Nobody really likes the concept of growing old. We accept it, and growing old gracefully. We know we're going to grow older. But every woman, I think, deep down wants to carry her grace and her beauty with her to the very end.
Absolutely.
And hair is a woman's crowning glory. It just
Absolutely.
is.
It really is.
So at what point, you said you were in the film industry, and this is where you introduced your product. Where was that transition point for you of moving from the film industry, where you saw the greater need now, not greater, just a different need, because that's a great need in the film industry also, into the mainstream public?
Well, dealing with celebrities, to please them and make them feel great and confident when they go on for that up close and camera look, I could honestly say after I got there, they'd come in the morning looking all dowdy, just like the rest of us do. And as soon as they sat in the makeup chair, before they had their makeup on, I'd pop on a Top Secret or extension or whatever. And they're like, oh my God, this is even before makeup at 5:30 in the morning.
Yay!
And so many of them said, Denise, you have to do something with this. This is amazing. And I would stand behind the director chair and look at the monitor. And if you ever go to see a film and their heads cut off, it's either because they're wearing a bad wig or a bad toupee or a lace front or it's exposed.
Right.
With this, your own natural hair can come through and it looks more natural. And so I listened to them and the concerns of my clients and introduced it with an overwhelming response.
Well, this is almost the proverbial dream of being able to wake up with a good hairdo. It's pretty close because you can wake up and kind of clip it on in just a matter of moments, and you can run any place you need to go and feel confident about how your hair looks. So there is no such thing as a bad hair day anymore. Correct?
Exactly. That's what we're trying to prevent.
Yeah. So I noticed when I was in your studio that you have received many accolades. Could you share with us all the notoriety that you've received since you've been working with Top Secret?
Well, I don't like to talk about myself.
Well, I'm going to ask you, how's that? You can talk about yourself.
I have to say that we won for the second time in the Reader's Choice Awards.
Okay.
Launchpad Magazine, voted by professionals in the beauty business as the #1 clip-on hair pieces and extensions. And I'm really proud of that because, professional women out there are introducing it to their clients. Mm-hmm. And the fact that they are voting for us, it's kind of like the actors voting for the Academy Award. Exactly. So the fact that we won this twice is, I feel really great about that, and that's one of my most proud things.
I know people have written stories on you, and they can find your stories in local magazines. You shared with me, I can't remember off the top of my head. Maybe you could tell us some of the magazines that they can find your story in and these photos.
We've been in W Magazine. We're coming out at the cover story of Lifestyle and Studio City Magazine because now we have a beautiful location and we invite everybody to come out.
I've been there. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous.
Yeah. Just speak about the radio show and the wellness show here, and we'd love to do a free consultation for you.
Okay.
And so you can come in, and we're right in Studio City on Ventura Boulevard, and we'll get to that later. But then one of the most things is, just reaching out to each woman one head at a time. Mm-hmm. And if you're not in a local area, you can go to our website at topsecrethair.com and email us a front side picture of yourself in natural lighting, and we can do a consultation over the web. And it's strictly confidential.
Good.
So you can go to Denise at topsecrethair.com.
So everybody, as you're watching and listening to us today, I want you to take note. She said that if you call her or contact her and mention that you saw her on LA Talk Live, Here's to Your Health, that she will give you a free consultation. That's amazing because I know that's a lot of time on your part and talent and skill, and will help to give a woman a tremendous amount of hope and confidence that she can have her hair restored. Correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Correct. That is awesome. So you've been doing this now 20 years with the hair, you said?
I've been a hairdresser 25 plus years.
Okay.
And worked in television and film for the last 20 years. And we've been, offering this to our clientele and to the professional in the beauty business for 14 years. In January was our 14th year.
So what would you say right now is your, everybody has life goals. I mean, we're always reformulating and kind of repackaging those goals. To change women, you said, was one head at a time. So within that goal, where would you like to take your product? Obviously, you're here in California right now. I know women globally would be very interested, and obviously people can contact you through your website. So give me from your own heart, Denise, your top of the mind goal for women with your product.
We're trying to brand our name as a household brand so that women worldwide will know where, that this product's available. We've mm-hmm. done hair shows in Italy, Dubai,
oh my goodness.
Paris, London, and Canada. So we've been, globally, we've been out there, but we really want to, transform women one head at a time all over the world. And my main goal is making it a household name.
Now, I know professional women. I have friends that are judges and attorneys, and their lives are very fast. They're CPAs. A lot of them do a lot of international travel, and they're on the go. And some of these gals are 50 plus now. They look great, but the thing that they've noticed is that their hair is thinning, and it's really disconcerting to them. So I can see how this could really, for the fast pace that most of us are living today, how this alone could just take a huge burden off of a woman. She doesn't have to run to the hairdresser to get her hair fluffed up before an engagement. She can just pop this on the top of her head.
Women want value in their dollar today. They want something that's going to make them look and feel good instantly. They want something that's going to last and save them time. And so I can honestly say that this product will do that for them.
Awesome.
And make them look years younger. Who doesn't want that? I mean, I get amazed every time I have a new client come in. I'm still amazed, like I said, with this product and I'm learning every day that, oh, well, we can do this with this. And, I'm always open. And I think the main thing is being open for transition and being open to new and greater things out there.
So what's your price range? I mean, there's got to be kind of a price range. Obviously, you've made this very affordable because this is, once you have it, this is something that will probably last you the rest of your life unless you change the color of your hair, and then you can probably adjust it.
Well, we use Indian hair and Russian hair. The Russian hair is a much finer hair and a blonde hair because most of the women that are suffering from some sort of thinning, their hair's really fine.
Okay.
The blonde ones will thin out, after a few years, depending on how they wear and tear and take care of it. We have a product line that we recommend, to use with it.
Share
and
that
our
with
product,
us?
and our product, our hair pieces start from $250 on up to above $1,000, depending on the length and the style. And like I said, if you're investing in the product, you want to invest in the shampoo and conditioner because it's going to keep your hair pieces a lot nicer for a longer time. Our dark pieces will last for years and years because the hair is less processed and it's got a stronger elasticity. So you'll have the pieces for years, but it's a great investment.
Is your product, your shampoo and your conditioner, obviously is what you recommend for your hair pieces? Can a woman use this on just her own hair, or is this something just...
Absolutely.
Oh, good. So tell us a little bit about this,
So
please.
I'm going to just touch base. They did a survey on the Today Show, and they were reaching out they did a survey on what's the best shampoo out there. And Kerastase shampoo came out number 1.
Oh.
And Pert from Procter & Gamble
Serious?
came out second. So I got these products and I went to my manufacturer in Glendale, California, and I took them some damaged bleached hair and extension, and I said, listen, I need this hair to be rejuvenated and fabulous. And these are the products that are number 1, and I wanted to make it better than that. It took me a year and a half in development with the smells of it and the whole line of my brand, and it is, I have to say, it's fabulous. It really is. It's so nice. You just need a small amount. And because you're not washing your hairpiece every day, you're probably washing it once a month if you live in LA because of the air quality.
Yes.
If you're living in Montana or, somewhere in Texas, the air quality is a lot better. So you don't have to
May I
wash
open this and smell it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see what this smells like.
It just has a clean, fresh smell.
Oh, it's lovely.
Yes.
It's very nice. It's not offensive to anybody who has a problem with scents or anything or any universal allergies.
Yes.
No, that's quite lovely. So, tell me, with your new salon, just tell me a little bit about the salon. You're located on Ventura Boulevard. It's fairly easy to find. You're in Studio City. And now that you have, obviously, did you travel with what you were doing before, and now you're located in your salon? And this is a studio salon, by the way. This is not your typical hair salon, people. I want you to know. This is a very elegant, Parisian, New York style studio salon. It was, you appointed it beautifully. It's an experience to go there. So tell me what you want to accomplish now that you have this.
I wanted, I've ran my business out of my home. This is a self-start business. And I, to be successful, I was very disciplined and working 7 days a week and running. When I first got started, I was selling hair out of the trunk of my car, believe it or not. And I did whatever it took. I still worked in television and film. I had my own traditional clientele when I was off the set doing hair and hair extensions and color and the whole thing. And so I kept my overhead low. And as I sold more hair and I do the traditional beauty shows and some women's expos, I kept, every time I'd sell hair, I'd buy more hair and develop my line and keep getting it bigger and bigger. And was looking for a location, but I traveled to Beverly Hills, over the hill for so many years. I didn't want to waste my time, sometimes it would take 20 minutes, sometimes it would take an hour.
Right.
And that's 2 hours out of my day when I can be helping other women.
Exactly. There you
So
go.
I found this location in Studio City, which is like 2 miles from my home, and it was the perfect place. We have private rooms, so if I have a celebrity, they can pull in the back. I just did a pop diva today who's going on tour and in London and the European tour, and she could pull up in the back and go right through the back door, but she don't care. She tells everybody about me anyways. That I'm just saying, if someone's private, they want that. They want that consultation, but they want a little bit, they don't want anybody to know they're pulling in.
Right.
They can come through the back door. And we have women coming off the street going, what is this, a wig store? We're not a wig. We don't do wigs.
Right.
And it looks like an artisan hair gallery. Before I became a stylist, I wanted to get into interior design. And so I designed this place all by myself. And because I ran my business out of home, I wanted to feel cozy and comfortable. When people came to my house before, my pool house was my private studio, and they'd have to walk through my home, and they're like, oh, who did your home? And I'm like, I did. This is my little hobby. I love to do flowers and design and all kinds of things like that. And I wanted to give this place a homey feel, and but still have the elegance of a salon feel. But we have the private rooms, and we have these beautiful mirrors that make you feel like a princess. And we don't want anything to be intimidating. We want you to feel
it's
casual.
not. It's warm. I've been there. I have to back up everything that she just told you. There's beautiful artwork on the wall. The appointments that you have there are beautiful. So anybody can come in there and feel special. And it's not intimidating. It's very receiving, and it's very warm. You've done a spectacular job.
Thank
and
you.
For people that come, there's restaurants that are close by.
Thank you for saying that, because I think, I've worked in many salons in Beverly Hills, and when I first moved here from Texas, and I moved
You're
into
a
Beverly
Texas
Hills.
girl, huh?
Yes, and when I moved into Beverly Hills and I started working in these Beverly Hills salons, I was even intimidated because you get these hoity-toity hairdressers and the hoity-toityness of everything, and I didn't want to have that. I wanted to let women know that we're all relative. I'm the same way. I will rip off my hair. I will do whatever it takes to let them know that.
Me too.
Make them feel comfortable, and I'm so glad that you pinpointed that it's not an intimidating place, and they can feel comfortable here. And all my staff, they let people know that you can feel comfortable here, and we'll even give you a glass of wine if you need to unwind. We'll even serve you a glass of wine or water or whatever you need, because we want you to just feel relaxed and feel at home.
Well, I've worked with your publicist, Karen Lindstrom, and she has her job cut out for her because you have a busy place and you have a lot of good support around you, and she's been a pleasure to work with also.
She's lovely.
Is there anything else that you'd like to share with us today about your vision, about what you're doing? Anything that you'd like to share with us or about the particular hairpiece here? I know that, let's see if I can do this without knocking it over. Can I slip this off? Does that?
It's pinched down. Let's see.
Okay, it's pinched down.
Just pop that clip.
Okay, let's see.
There you go.
See? Okay, here's a clip. I don't know if you can see this right here, but there's a clip and you can see the construction. So this would like clip into your own hair. She has it here on Velcro just for the sake of demonstration here. But now,
let's go ahead and take it off.
Okay.
And then we could see the base. It's a monofilament base. And like I said, it's breathable. It's lightweight. And
so there's a lot of combs on the inside.
Yeah, there's a 4-clip attachment system on it. And they simply just open and close like that, and it attaches to your hair.
Very good.
So you could go dancing with these. I want to touch base on this. You can go. They've been rock star tested, roller coaster tested. So we've done our due diligence.
I love it.
Yes, we've taken some actresses and models to Magic Mountain.
Okay.
And we wanted to make sure that they stayed on one's head. And they brought their husbands and boyfriends and stuff along. And I told them, okay, when we get off, if the hair's still attached, it's top secret. If it's not, then it's like this, and it's back to the lab.
Right.
And I said, hopefully it won't fly and hit somebody in the face like that duck did to Fabio. So I just say it was safe. And we even went down the rides and got wet and had the water, the log rides, and got it wet. And it just blended right into our hair.
That's awesome.
Which is great. I've been thrown in the water with these. I don't like to be in chlorine with them because I'm so obsessed with my hair and keeping the healthy and stuff. But I've been thrown in the water and it's nothing has happened other
Right.
than I had to restyle my hairpiece. But they hold up, you know, you can go out dancing with them. I've been grabbed at a Christmas party by this guy, and I had so much hair on. I've got it on video. I need to put it on YouTube because it's hilarious. And he just took me and he swung me around and threw me upside down and kept swinging me. And I was like, oh my God, I hope this thing doesn't end up in the punch bowl. And it didn't. It was like there, and it looks beautiful as it's flowing, as he's like spinning me around, dancing me on the dance floor. So they do stay on as long as you put those 4 clips down. They are locked in. And I have to say, one of my pro wrestling divas had come in, which I didn't know what she did. She was a gorgeous girl, and I don't ask unless someone volunteers.
Right.
And she was like, "Are these cat snag proof?" And I was like, "Like what?" She's
What's
like,
that?
She goes, "If you get in a cat fight, will they stay on?" And I'm like, "Are you planning to get into a cat fight?" And I'm like, "Is this girl a stripper or what?" I'm like, "Okay, well, let me know how that works out for you."
Mm-hmm.
Well, she came in a few months later. And she'd been on tour, I guess, with the Pro Wrestling Divas. And she's like, her hairpiece was all like a mess. And she's like, "Can you do something with this?" And I was like, "Of course." I said, "What happened?" She goes, "Well, I'm proud to say I got in a cat fight, girl, and it held up." And I said, "Did you get that on video?" And she said, "As a matter of fact, it is." She goes, "I don't know if you know this, but I'm with the Pro Wrestling Divas. And this girl challenged me to wrestle. And she's going to take me down." She goes, "But my hair looked fabulous." And I said, she gave me a video of it. So it's
That's
really
hysterical.
Funny. It was pretty funny.
Well, what I noticed when I visited your salon, my hair's natural. I don't. It's just mine. But I thought the hair pieces you put on the girls actually looked more real than even my own hair. And I said, "Oh my!" I was absolutely amazed and awe that no one could ever detect that these women had on anything but their own hair. The way you cut the bang, the way you shaped it around the face. I said, really, it's about as real looking as I have ever seen for a hairpiece.
Thank you. And you do have, you do have the most beautiful hair. I was like, oh my God, every woman would die to have this kind of hair that you have. And I have to say, I am not going to take someone's money unless they're 100% comfortable with wearing the piece. I don't need to do that. That is not my goal in life. It's not about the money for me. It's about the passion, and it's about the
girl.
Yeah, it's about the transformation that they have. I mean, whether they're, going through some sort of illness, and this is really important, or growing their hair out from cancer.
Yes.
I mean, even if their hair's like an inch, half inch, we have something to go with and design, and where they can grow their hair into without being confined to a wig or a hat. So that's what we want to do, and that's one of the things that I want to let people know, that we can make it look natural.
Right.
And if they don't feel comfortable with it, the last thing I'm going to do is take their money. I can sell that piece to someone else.
Right.
That's the way I feel.
Well, I feel this is as much a part of the healing process as the healing itself, because for a woman to lose all her hair and to have to wear a scarf or throw on a wig is very demoralizing. But if you can put something like this on and run, and it looks, honestly, everything that I saw that evening, it looked like their real hair. I was, one woman after the other, was absolutely awed at what I saw and the transformation in how they looked. They went from attractive women to be totally glamorous, just by, even without their makeup, just by changing their hair.
Yeah.
It was just phenomenal.
It's really great too, and you touched base on something that was really, important, with the health issues and growing older and just feeling bad.
Mm-hmm.
Emotionally, I mean, physically you're going to see a major transformation, but emotionally it changes a woman. And they're like,
yes.
When they call me a hair genius, I used to be embarrassed by it, but now I say yes, because I see the effect that it has on someone. I see exactly what it does, and it makes them feel so much better.
Mm-hmm.
And the emotional effect that it has is great. And it makes me very happy. It makes me feel that this is my purpose in life, and helping women.
It's a great purpose.
I think so.
Yeah, it is
Thank
women.
you.
It is definitely women's crowning glory. So let me think. I have run into. Actually, I know a lot of women that are going to love hearing about this today. When I saw you, I was really thrilled to have you on this show. Because,
thank you, Yvonne, for having me.
It's a wellness show, and I didn't see it as just glamour. I didn't see it as just hair or something superficial. I actually saw it as something that runs very deep in the vein of all women.
And I was really thrilled to be able to have you come on to share this so a lot of people can find out, because this is a very painful issue. It's a painful issue for women. And I'm not sure I know many of the factors that are at the root for alopecia. I know sometimes it's sickness, sometimes it's disease, sometimes it's hormones, sometimes it's stress, sometimes it's grief, sometimes it's all of it. And women, it fractures a part of their identity as a woman when they start to lose their hair. And for me, this was beyond beauty. This was beyond the salon. This was beyond superficial. But this actually, to me, went down to the heart of where women live and what's important to them. One of the things, it's not superficial. It's deeply entrenched in how they feel about themselves and their sense of well-being. Right. Women all love to feel beautiful, every woman.
Speaking of heart, you brought up something. You know, I had a woman in from Hawaii who came to Los Angeles and had a heart transplant. Mm-hmm. And her daughter has beautiful hair. She had really beautiful hair. She got a heart transplant, and her hair, with all the medicines that she had to take, her hair came back in very fine and very thin. Oh. And one of her dear friends, who happens to be one of my clients, that I do color on, she said, I can't wait for her to come in. I want to get her in here as soon as she's up and about. And she came in, and I told her, you know, you don't have to be stuck with that short hairstyle anymore. We can actually change your style back to what it was. Right. But let's start out with the piece of shortness, and then know that we can take you to what your hair looked like prior to, you know, the surgery. And she was just so thrilled. She's like, I go, and I was thrilled to meet her. This woman had a heart transplant, which is amazing. It is. And for her, she goes just to have a new lease on life, and then, you know, have other options to do with her hair. I mean, it was, I can't even imagine what she felt like. Seriously. Right. You know, it was pretty awesome. It's a restoration for somebody. You have a business. It's all about restoration. Yes. Thank you. Denise, I would like you to take a moment and speak slowly and clearly, because there will be people listening and watching you today, how they can find you, how they can get in touch with you, your address, your phone number, your email, so on and so forth. Okay. The first thing, if you'd like to check us out, you can go to topsecrethair.com. Make sure you put the hair in there. So it's topsecrethair.com. I invite you for a free consultation to our studio, which is located in Studio City. And our business name is Top Secret Hair Accessory. And our address is 12436 Ventura Boulevard, Studio City, California, 91604. And our phone number is 1-866-403-7920. And I look forward to meeting each and every one of you. I thank you so much for coming today, because this is truly and deeply a wellness topic. So thank you for being my guest today. Interviewing you was an absolute delight, and I feel like today we've solved an issue for probably thousands of women out there today, and that makes me happy. Well, I'm your host today, and my name is Yvonne Beauvais. I'm the wellness correspondent, and I am co-host with Josh Lane. Here's to Your Health, LA Talk Live, keeping the pulse on today's health and wellness opportunities. So I want to bid you all a good day, and thank you so much, Denise. Thank you, Yvonne. It's been my pleasure. It's been delightful. Okay.
We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
It started out like a totally normal day.
I love you.
I mean, I guess I was a little sweaty and I was definitely sore. I thought I had gas. Turns out I was having a heart attack. Heart disease is the #1 killer of American women. So now I take care of myself and tell the other women in my life to do the same. Make it your mission to save your life and the lives of the women you love. Find out more from the American Heart Association at goredforwomen.org.
Young Connection, your one-stop connection for all your graphic design and commercial printing needs. Young Connection is a full-service printing and media design company dedicated to providing the highest level of customer service and satisfaction. Young Connection provides swift response and rapid turnaround services for banners, brochures, business cards, letterheads, church bulletins, funeral programs, flyers, logo design, posters, and much, much more, all at an affordable price. Young Connection, the official printing company of LA Talk Live. Give them a call at 310-491-3336. That's 310-491-3336, or visit their website at www.youngconnection.com. That's www.youngconnection.com. Young Connection Printing and Media Services, proud sponsors of LA Talk Live, where it's more than just talk.
Hi, I'm Onyx Monopoly, inviting you to join me every Monday at 11 a.m. for my new show, Hooked on Onyx, spreading motivation and inspiration through wisdom, experience, and music. So don't forget to tune in to Hooked on Onyx, Mondays at 11 a.m., exclusively on LATalkLive.com, the LA Talk Broadcast Network. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio, TuneIn Radio, Live 365, Radio Flag, and AHA Radio, or watch and listen directly at LATalkLive.com. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening and viewing pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hey everybody, it's your man Sabir Bey, back on your airwaves, inviting you to join us every Tuesday, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on the Sabir Bey Show, discussing history, law, and hip-hop. Every Tuesday, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, the Sabir Bey Show, exclusively on LATalkLive.com. You also can catch us on iTunes Radio and R&B, Live 365, Radio Flag, and now Stitcher Radio. Or watch us and listen directly at LATalkLive.com. Reality radio, handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hi, this is Starlet Quarles, and I'm inviting you to join us every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. for a new show right here on LA Talk Live, The Dialogue, Real Talk, Real People. Join us as we discuss the topics that are relevant to today's generational leaders. So don't forget to tune in to The Dialogue, Real Talk, Real People, every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. right here on LATalkLive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B, Live 365, Radio Flag, and now Stitcher Radio. Or watch and listen directly at LATalkLive.com. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hey, this is James Kinney, inviting you to join me every Thursday at noon for the Business of Business. Join us as we discuss success and how to reach it. Listen, don't forget to join me every Thursday at noon Pacific Standard Time for the Business of Business, exclusively here on LA Talk Live. Hey, and don't forget, you can also catch me on iTunes Radio R&B, Radio Flag, TuneIn Radio, Live 365, AHA Radio, TiVo Radio, and Apple TV Radio, or just watch and listen directly at LATalkLive.com, where we are more than just talk. Murked it.
Joshua Lane, member of the board of directors of Dr. Ann Wigmore's Hippocrates Health Institute, Josh Lane was part of the Dr. Ann Wigmore team that brought wheatgrass, sprouts, and raw foods to a worldwide audience. And now the host of Here's to Your Health on LA Talk Live, Joshua Lane.
We're back. Thank you for tuning in to this edition of Here's to Your Health on the LA Talk Live broadcast network. I'm your host, Joshua Lane. My next guest is a spokesperson for the National Kidney Month. He's been a guest on Here's to Health before. Mark Carnell is a former amateur boxer who had 30 prize fights and then was diagnosed by a physician for another fight that he had kidney disease, a serious kidney disease, possibly caused by injuries from other fighters hitting him, although it's of unknown origin. Mark, welcome to Here's to Your Health.
Thank you.
Happy to have you on. You were on a few weeks ago. You're the spokesperson for Big Back Grips.
Big Back Grips, yes.
And you are a professional trainer.
Professional trainer, yes.
And so, when did you start fighting amateur fights?
15, 14.
And you had 30 professional fights and
amateur
fights, and you trained all the time, and even when you weren't doing amateur fights, you were in the gym fighting with other guys.
Yes, of course.
And the other guys, your same size with good training, punched you a lot. Is that right?
Not punched me a lot. I mean, I was on defense, and I was really working my game.
Right. But it's one of the drawbacks to the sport is that the other guy is trained and he's your size, and if he hits you, it hurts. It's not a joke. It's not a macho thing either. It's like you're fighting to win prizes. You're a prize fighter. You hopefully win money, and the other guy wants to win money too, and the other guy punches you. It's like it's bad for you.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm not trying to make a joke there. It's just bad. It's a sport where there's a lot of injury.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's sad to say that I just got renal failure from that.
So tell the audience. So a sports doctor doing a pre-fight physical for you said, no, you can't fight.
Yeah. So what it was is I was doing my annual checkup, and they did blood tests, and it was poison. They said my creatinine level was at a 2.9, and my kidneys were failing. So at that point, I just needed to realize what my next move was going to be. Was I going to take the fight, maybe get hit in my kidneys and end up back in the hospital, or was I just going to stop my career trying to pursue professional boxing and just go into training? With that being said, I stayed really proactive as far as trying to find sources and learn about kidneys, because it was such a shock to me. That was a one hit knockout for me.
Now, can I ask you a question? So you went in for the pre-fight physical. Probably felt good, right?
I felt amazing.
And after you got that diagnosis, did you think, oh, he must have done the wrong blood work, or, what did you think?
Speechless. I was definitely speechless. I thought I can pursue a career in boxing. I was really healthy. I was in the gym 2-3 hours a day, running every morning at 6. Not feeling any signs and symptoms, which is what I've been reading about it with renal failure, is that there's no really signs and symptoms of having kidney disease.
Oh, there isn't?
There isn't.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So, without being too crude, so you could urinate, never a problem, before the diagnosis and not after the diagnosis?
I'm sorry, come again?
You could urinate successfully before the diagnosis. In other words, the morning you went in, you could urinate and you had no problem peeing?
Not at all.
And after the diagnosis, did you have a problem urinating?
Not at all.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
So then the illness manifests how?
How did it manifest?
Yeah. There was anything in you at all?
Nothing at all. I mean, I was just really healthy. Taking protein shakes, creatine drinks, just being in the gym all the time, learning how to push the body to the next level, doing parkour stuff, staying in gym boxing.
We talked about the parkour you were on last time, and I find it fun that the young men have really introduced that as a legitimate sport now. I saw your video, you jumping on, I think you told me 37 mats. And when I saw that, I thought, well, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's probably took some training.
I'm a natural high jumper, I think.
Well, you might be, but even so, did you have to train for that, or you just?
I just jumped. I just like jumping.
That was very cool. I thought that was really a lot of laughs. I thought, that's fun.
Yeah. I mean, the new name is Grasshopper, I believe. I don't know. I just like jumping. I do that a lot with my training. I mean, there's videos coming out under Lifestyle Athletics. That's my company. The symbol is a triangle, and which represents the kidneys because it's orange, and the month of orange is March, which represents the kidneys. The logo itself originated from Los Angeles. That's where I got the origination from. Lifestyle Athletics is an LA kid, and I'm going to show you now the the actual logo is
This is a logo for the kidney month, or for your profession, your organization.
This is everything gathered together. Me being from Los Angeles, me getting kidney failure, my lifestyle. This is my lifestyle.
I'm not sure if the camera can pick up. Let me see here. Lifestyle Athletics. We've got it.
This is Lifestyle Athletics.
Richard can pick that up. Very good. That's good. Lifestyle Athletics. Okay, we see that.
Got it.
So you train business people, etc., or are you working with other athletes, or are you working with whoever comes to your door who likes your information?
Lately, I've been trying to work with a lot of people who have kidney failure, diabetes, and high blood pressure.
Oh, good for you.
Only because that's what I'm going through. My personal experience, if I stayed active in the gym, they say you only need to do 30 minutes of exercising. So that's what I do, but I push it to the limit to maybe do about 2 hours. But as far as training goes, I train everyone from the average Joe to executives for big motion picture companies.
Well, let me ask you a question about people with kidney problems, since to some extent you've become kind of a spokesperson. You're on National Kidney Month. So when people have kidney problems, you have kidney problems, but you don't have any symptoms. You don't have fever. You don't have lower back pain. You don't have trouble urinating. You don't urinate blood. I mean, so other people with kidney failure, what do they have?
Some of them have most of them have dialysis.
They're on dialysis because they cannot urinate. Is that it?
They can't urinate. The filter of the blood, they need a machine to do that.
Otherwise, they would pass away.
Exactly.
So they have to have like
treatments 3 times a week.
At least, right. So that would, and they which is, obviously quite a serious thing.
It's very serious. I didn't know how. I didn't even the function of kidneys prior to getting renal disease. They're very we need them. We can live with one, but we need them.
Right. And so when people have kidney dialysis, have you been to the hospital and seen clients and people getting that, and they're all hooked up and they got to do it for I think it's like an hour and a half or something?
Yeah.
Or sometimes it's overnight or something. I'm not quite sure.
They have multiple types of dialysis. They got going into the dialysis center, DaVita, home dialysis, depending on the schedule or what your lifestyle is, which I've been learning from Kidney Smarts, which is a chronic kidney disease education program, which is right here.
Yeah.
Which DaVita offers to people who want to come in and learn about kidney disease.
What's the name of the organization again?
DaVita.
What's DaVita? I don't know that one.
DaVita is a dialysis treatment center for patients with renal disease.
And where are they? They're
in
LA?
All over the world. All over the nation. So I've been learning a lot about the kidney disease and the types of forms of dialysis and how to break down the kidneys, what diabetes, high blood pressure, all leading to kidney disease, which people got to be more aware of, not taking care of that and getting the support needed. You need a support system. This is really rough if you go by your own. Luckily, I have a good medical team, a good family team, a good girlfriend team.
Well, good for you.
Yeah,
that's an important team to have for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone is definitely supportive of the movement that I'm doing and so forth.
And when you train people, so if people have diabetes, do you counsel them also on, because exercise is very good for diabetic, it helps stabilize blood sugar. And do you work with them at all on a food program? What is a good idea and what's a less of a good idea?
Well, I recommend them to go to a nutritionist.
I see.
I'm going to take care more of the physical aspect, and I work hand in hand with the nutritionists to say what's a proper way of working these individuals out. Same as well with blood pressure. I don't want these guys passing out on me if
no, that would be a drag. Really.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So have people ever passed out on you?
Never.
Right.
Never. Maybe thrown up. Maybe. That's if.
Well, throwing up is not that exciting either, but passing out, unfortunately, it sounds almost a little bit like a lark, but if you pass out and fall, you can really hurt yourself.
Yeah, you can.
And when people, for example, sometimes, you're a terribly young guy, but when older people fall, let's say someone who's, 60, 70, 80, 90, they fall, not only do they hurt themselves physically, but it's very bad for them emotionally, because they're thinking to themselves, oh my God, I'm so old, I'm falling. And they really think that they're about to, leave, and it's very upsetting emotionally. And when I did a little reading on the subject, I thought, it made perfect sense to me, only after I read the article, because before that I never thought of it, the emotional component of falling, and hopefully if you didn't hurt yourself too badly, you get up and think, oh my goodness, I'm falling.
Yeah.
And it's a bad thing. My father once managed to make it to 90, but he unfortunately had some health problems, possibly caused by some of the medications he was taking. And so I'll use this word, he beshat himself once.
Oh, wow.
And, when you're talking to your father, it's your father, So my father, it was so bad for his self-image. He felt so badly about it. And I thought, oh yeah, I can understand that. I mean, it seemed like, it's a bad thing. I mean, you have a self-image, you're successful, you have children, you do this, you do this, you do this, you travel. He was in the service. I mean, all the things he'd accomplished, and he beshat himself. And he felt very bad about it. And then the second time it happened to my dad, it was much more of a medical problem. In other words, he thought, okay, he wasn't happy about it, but it didn't seem to affect him as far as his view of himself. And I really like that about my dad. And as I've gotten older, I've realized, a lot of stuff that you take for very important when you're younger, you get older, you realize, nope, this is a survival question here, really, and I'll just clean myself up and get back in the game. And I was very proud of my dad for that. And I had never experienced anything quite like that. And I think I learned from that experience, my father's bad experience. And other people have told me stories similar to that. And I think, okay, this unfortunately happens sometimes. Sometimes medication will just do it to you. It had a bad effect on the medication, and you're at home, or you're at the mall, or you're somewhere, and all of a sudden, whoa. And, it almost seems like a comedy routine, but really it's not very funny. It's just not, it's not funny, So, when your health is not cooperating, it's really very surprisingly difficult. It just really, there's nothing graceful about it. There's nothing funny or romantic about it. Just like, it's just bad. So,
yeah.
What did your mom and dad say when you were given this diagnosis?
They were really scared, actually. It was rough seeing their only son go through renal failure. The doctor's saying, you know what, it's confirmed via biopsy that your son has renal failure. I tell a story on the Huffington Post. I don't know if any of...
I know you're on the Post. I checked it out. Yes, you're on the Post. It was very nice.
I'm on the Huffington Post. Nice. I pretty much wrote my story there. I mean, a way of communicating to the world and explaining my story as I talk to people who are on dialysis and people who do have renal failure. Their words not being able to be expressed via whether it's email, support system, and we're just here to help people out, be the movement of, look, this is kidney disease, and we need to raise more awareness to that,
Was your father a good athlete?
No.
Did your dad work out at all?
I think I'm the first.
So what made you get into it? If your mom and dad didn't necessarily work out, who did you see on TV? What magazine did you read, or did you think, I want to do that?
I started off skateboarding when I was younger.
9, 10?
9, 10. And my sister was married to, her fiance was a professional skateboarder. So he took me everywhere.
Very nice.
And I was like, wow, I really like skateboarding. And that's what actually made my foundation of liking athleticism. With that being said, I was introduced to boxing, middle school, high school. And I was like, wow, I really like this. Punching people in the face is not as bad as I thought it was. I mean, it's a sport, but
no, it's a pretty aggressive sport. But you just thought, I'm kind of good. You just thought, I'm good at this?
Yeah.
Because obviously you don't want to get punched in the face.
I don't. It's stick and move. It's stick and move, and that's.
Well, by the way, looking at your face, you must not have gotten hit in too much. Have you got hit in the face at all?
Yeah, all the time.
Really?
Well, I mean, I'd come home with multiple black eyes every other night.
Oh God.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah.
What did your mom say?
She's like, "What are you doing? You're doing that boxing thing again, huh?" She would say it in her Filipino accent. There was multiple.
Did your mom cry?
She never cried. She just always yelled at me why I chose that sport. With going to the hospital multiple times for brain injuries, for internal bleeding to my head.
You had brain injuries?
Well, I had internal bleeding to my head from specific shots I took in the years.
Really? How'd they find that out?
They injected some pink type of formula and made me go through a X-ray, and then internal bleeding to my stomach. I couldn't eat. I wasn't digesting my food. Every time I would eat like a steak, it was like, oh. So I went to the hospital. They, lay low off that boxing for a couple months and see if you still want to be in it.
Were you 18 or 19 when this was happening?
Yeah, I was about 18, 19.
Yeah, still very young and strong. Franco Columbu, the Mr. Olympia, very close friends with Arnold Schwarzenegger, who probably after Arnold is the second most widely known bodybuilder worldwide. He was on the show a couple times, actually twice, and he was telling a story that when he was young, he was into he was a boxer in Sardinia, where he's from, Italy, Sardinia, and he came home one day and he won the fight, but he was all beat up because he won, but he got beat up. The other guy was a pretty good fighter, and his mother was screaming at him, and he was thinking, "No, I won." I
won, yeah.
Why
Exactly.
I won, And the mother said, okay, that's it. So he stopped being a bodybuilder because the mom just wouldn't have it. So he got into professional bodybuilding. But it was a very nice story, because your mom is like, it's your mom, and she doesn't feel like seeing her son get hit in the face. I mean, it's not what your mom wants for you, or your father for that matter.
Yeah.
So-
My dad's like, dude, just lay low off the boxing stuff. I mean, you don't gotta act like a tough guy or anything like that.
Yeah, because it's hard. Sometimes your parents mean well, but it's not what you want.
Yeah, exactly.
They mean well.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, Mom, I want to do this. I want to do this. Their generation wants to do that, but my generation wants to do this, and this is what I want to do. And
It's not even generations. I think you're picked as an individual once you go into the gym. Like, this suits who I am. At my most relaxed state of mind, it was boxing. On a regular day, 3 hours in the gym, I was at my most relaxing state in mind. Like, I didn't think of anything else, no worries, didn't have to worry about what bill to pay or
right.
if
all the adult things.
Exactly. So that was a really good stress reliever for myself. I think I was just always angry. Just multiple situations that came in my life that I chose. I thank boxing for helping me.
Gave you a focus. It gave you a focus.
Discipline. It was the discipline that it gave me. Yeah.
Which you, as a very young man, recognized you do better with this. You realized this was a good idea.
Yes, of course.
And you had some friends who weren't into boxing, and they may have made other choice that you would think that was a bad choice. I wouldn't do that.
I've brought like 6 to 7 friends from the streets. Dude, why don't you guys go box? You guys are fighting in and out of jail. I think boxing would save your life. Took it maybe once or twice. Wasn't really in them.
Right.
But I owe it to boxing. I mean, my career now, I've worked with very well people, like who I've changed lives drastically.
Yeah, it's nice to have, you can give people wellness advice, is what you do. You give wellness advice, and people benefit. And so you're important in their life. You really help them. It's a nice thing.
Yeah.
It's a very nice
it's a different type of discipline. You learn how to pick your battles in boxing that they don't show on the average NASM booklet that I was reading. They show you how the muscle groups work, but it's also mental. The mental state that boxing prepares you for, it's really useful for life that I've used. The stick and move attributes of some situation coming at me, and I use it as a problem, and I stick and move, and I do an uppercut right after that. Really helped me through life, And now it's forming Lifestyle Athletics, and we're just growing as a company,
And so you work with people who come, but you do work with diabetics and people with kidney illness. So with a diabetic, is there anything you especially do with a diabetic person? Do they bleed easily or something, diabetics, or they just have
Well, we're working on
fatigue?
a program right now. I'm working on a program with the Da Vinci Body Board, and we're setting up the guidelines for diabetics. This is the Da Vinci Body Board. It's a 30-minute exercise.
And again, so Da Vinci is an organization, and they have centers where they do dialysis all over the country.
No, the Da Vinci Body Board is pretty much a type of exercise.
I see.
It's a board with resistance
Oh, I see.
bands,
Okay.
and it pretty much explains the type of exercise we're doing.
Okay, I can see. I'm not sure Richard can pick that up, but I can certainly see it. Okay, it's kind of tiny for us, but alrighty. Alrighty. Okay, Da Vinci Body Board.
Yeah.
Okay, that's probably enough of that.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily show up real good on TV. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And that board is almost a little bit like a skateboard or something. Is that it?
More like a surfboard.
A surfboard?
Yeah, it's more like a surfboard. It's just a long board with resistance bands and that's pretty much it.
And so the weight and what do you weigh right now?
135, 140.
Which seems like a very good weight for you. How tall are you? Can I ask?
5'8".
So actually, it's a very strong weight. So you've maintained that since you've been ill?
It fluctuated, actually. When I was first diagnosed with FSGS, it was 155, 160.
What's FSGS?
Vocal segmental sclerosis. I have to look it up. Sorry.
Okay, it's just your kidney illness.
Exactly. It's my kidneys, and I also found another organization called the NephCure that specializes on FSGS, and I needed a support team, and they've helped me out through a lot.
Now, if I can ask this just in passing, so when you first had this terrible diagnosis, you must have thought, oh, this is not good, and listened to the physicians, and you pumped up on all sorts of meds, weren't you? Or you were on steroids?
Yeah, I was on prednisone.
And I saw pictures of you, and you were pretty puffy. in that you didn't look like a young man anymore. I saw the pictures. You looked like a 35-year-old guy, which would have been great if you had been 35.
Yeah, exactly.
But you were like 23 or something.
25, 26, yeah.
Oh, yeah, so you look way older.
So they gave me about 10 years, yeah.
They aged the body, and maybe they had some benefit. But you decided over a period of time, you thought, no, I don't need these. I don't feel good on these. I don't want these. I want another approach.
The word is vulnerable.
Okay.
So when the doctor's diagnosis is renal disease, renal failure,
right,
what can I do to get better?
Right.
They put me on prednisone and other multiple medications, and my thought was, hopefully this can get me better.
Right.
60 to 70 milligrams of prednisone got me weighing a little much. You know, I needed to be in the gym. That whole video that you seen, that segment you seen, was all on prednisone. I was on between 60 to 40 milligrams of prednisone. It took about, for that minute and a half video, it took about 4 weeks to do, because I was breaking down after the first 10-15 minutes, and I'm doing plyometric jumps that I had to get within the first two shots, or I would be gassed out.
And did the prednisone affect your mood in any way?
Yeah.
Did it make you feel depressed?
Depressed, aggressive.
Because prednisone washes vitamin C and also pantothenic acid, B5, out of the body, so it has a legitimate upside, but it does have a downside, and one of the downsides is problems with mood. I mean, it's in the literature.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my mood was off by 1,000%.
And you noticed it about yourself. You thought, you noticed it. Some people don't notice, but you have body awareness, so you noticed.
I noticed, and the people around me definitely noticed it. Yeah.
You know, one thing I noticed about this subject, this is my subject, is that when you have students who come to you for athletic training, they're students and they trust your judgment, you're the teacher.
Mm-hmm.
But the students in general don't have the same sense of the subject that the teacher does, because you wouldn't be drawn to this profession if you didn't have a sense of this.
Exactly.
Right. So you're in a leadership position, so that's why I ask questions about body awareness. Like, a lot of people take prednisone and they think, no, we didn't notice anything. We gained a little weight, but they don't notice anything. But some people who are wellness guys, which is what you are, they notice, I do this exercise, I get this result. I take this vitamin, I see this result. I eat these supplements, or I eat this food, I get this result. And that's always a great pleasure to have that understanding of the subject.
Yeah. I mean, after getting off prednisone, I really, the pictures I seen, the pictures you seen, I thought, I was like, wow. In my life, I never thought I can get that weight.
Big.
Yeah, exactly. And now that I'm off it, I'm appreciative that I don't have to take any medications like that anymore.
Do you drink a lot of water? I mean, do you have any little ideas that this has helped me?
Water.
A lot of water.
I drink a lot of water. I think I drink water every 20-30 minutes.
Well, that's probably a good idea, and a lot of literature says that's just a smart idea.
Yeah. I mean, in the gym, I'm guzzling a gallon of water. I mean, easy. Yeah.
Well, Mark, do me a favor. Give us your contact information. Where can we go to you for training?
You can visit me on my website at lifestyleathletics.com or email me at mark@lifestyleathletics.com.
That sounds real good.
Yeah.
Mark, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you.
My pleasure. You've been listening to Here's to Your Health on the LA Talk Live broadcast network. I'm your host, Joshua Lane. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back after these important messages.
We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
Hey everybody, it's your man Sabir Bey back on your airwaves, inviting you to join us every Tuesday, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on the Sabir Bay Show, discussing history, law, and hip-hop. Every Tuesday, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, the Sabir Bay Show, exclusively on latalklive.com. You also can catch us on iTunes Radio and R&B, Live 365, Radio Flag, and now Stitcher Radio. Or watch us and listen directly at latalklive.com. Reality radio, handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hi, this is Dr. Levi, your fitness doctor, making a personal house call, inviting you to join me Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific for my all-new show, The Dr. Levi Show. Join us as we discuss fitness, health, and well-being, including emotional and spiritual health. So don't forget to tune in to the Dr. Levi Show every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific, exclusively on latalklive.com and the Talk Live Broadcast Network. You can also catch us on iTunes, Radio R&B, or watch us on Ustream.tv, or catch us on the Live 365 network. And now on Radio Flag and Stitcher Radio. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hey, this is James Kinney, inviting you to join me every Thursday at noon for the Business of Business. Join us as we discuss success and how to reach it. Listen, don't forget to join me every Thursday at noon Pacific Standard Time for the Business of Business, exclusively here on LA Talk Live. Hey, and don't forget, you can also catch me on iTunes Radio R&B, Radio Flag, TuneIn Radio, Live 365, AHA Radio, TiVo Radio, and Apple TV Radio. Or just watch and listen directly at latalklive.com, where we are more than just talk. Murked it.
Hi.
And now, host of Here's to Your Health, registered pharmacist, educator for Boron Homeopathic Medicines, Raphael Cohen Bakri.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Raphael Cohen Bakri, and today on Here's to Your Health, I'm so happy to bring a good friend of mine as my guest, Dr. Ann Meyer, who's a medical doctor. She also specializes in physical medicine and rehabilitation. And thank you so much for coming today. You're very respected in the medical world. Every time I mention your name, everybody's so complimentary about you. So thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me, Raphael.
And Dr. Meyer, would you tell us where you work and also a little bit about you and how you came to being involved in pain management and physical medicine?
Sure, I'd be happy to. I was actually raised in Los Angeles, go Bruins, and I have a private practice in West Los Angeles on Wilshire Boulevard. I'm also a private attending at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, where I work with patients on the rehabilitation unit. I work with musculoskeletal pain mostly in my office. I have a complementary approach. So although I do use conventional medications, I find it's easy to solve problems using more natural resources.
And that's actually how we met, because I was starting in the business of talking about, arnica for pain, and I don't really remember how I got your name. I think a colleague of yours told me you have to go and see Dr. Meyer, and that's what I liked about your practice, because you were offering a lot of options, like the traditional options, and also a lot of integrative things such as homeopathy. Lately, the last time we met, we talked about essential oils. I think it's something very dear to your heart now. So it's what you've been doing for a long time, doing both, right? Offering both.
Right. Actually, when I finished residency, I've been in practice about 18 years. I literally saw a big flashing stop sign. It said, stop looking at all the ways you've been doing it and learn other modalities. So I studied acupuncture, homeopathy. I took as many courses as I could possibly take.
And was it because you didn't achieve everything with what we call conventional medicines, or because of the side effects? What made you look for something different?
Great question. Basically, I had an inner knowing. That's all I can say. And I wanted to explore. And I think one of my core values is learning. I have to keep learning. So there is no one way of doing anything. So therefore, I was pointed in the direction of learning many different options, and I ran with it. Other things I do in my office is prolotherapy, which is injecting ligaments and tendons that are lax, therefore causing pain and helping to support the structural system of our body. I use a lot of essential oils, remembering that one of our primal instincts is smell, back from our caveman days. And when we smell something, it goes right to our limbic system, which, as you may know, is our emotional center. There's no edit button. The thalamus does not weed out anything when you smell it. So you can have memories from childhood pop just when you smell, like chocolate cookies or marshmallows or whatever. But essential oils work that way, and they are the life force of the plant, analogous to our blood. Our blood serves us with oxygen and nutrients. The essential oil of a plant serves the plant with its nutrients, so an oxygenation. So I use it for pain management. They can be used safely topically or diluted. I use them for emotional well-being, for sleep, for digestion. May I share with you a couple of examples? Yes. I have a couple of dachshunds, wiener dogs, and one of mine at age 3 needed not one but 2 back surgeries. And she was paralyzed, and wiener rehab took control, and I used lavender oils on her muscles along the spine. And she
like
was
massaging,
just a few drops, and rub them into the paraspinal, the muscles along the spine, after her surgery. And she was so agitated all night. And at 3 a.m, I go, wait a minute, I got the oils, let's use them. She was relaxed and calm in 20 minutes and never was restless again. That was like my big aha for me. Another time, don't feel squeamish when I say this, but I opened a door and took off my toenail. It hurt. It hurt. And I poured lavender in a blend called Panaway. 15 seconds later, I had no pain. I had a little bit of throb later that day, another drop or 2. I had no pain.
That's very powerful.
And the oils are very healing. So that's another modality that I use.
But when we talked about it a few weeks ago, you told me that not all essential oils are equal, and that there are a lot of different qualities. You have a specific provider, I think, and
well, essential oils need to be medically therapeutic. Unfortunately, when you purchase oils out in the community, whether it's a very high-end natural products store or not, often they can be adulterated, and you may not know that. They can say natural, 100% essential oil, but it doesn't mean it's not combined with something else. So I personally just use Young Living. Dr. Young started it almost 30 years ago. I went to the farm because I saw such great results. I went to the farm and distilled it with the team there, just because I needed to see for myself. And it is just pure oil from the plant, period. Nothing added to it. So I endorse that. I think it's a beautiful product. Yeah.
And you use it on your patient, or you also give the oil to the patient so he can use it at home, or it's only you?
No, sure. I apply it. I also will provide it for them if they wish to have it. And some people use it for digestion. We all know that ginger is great, natural ginger. We all know the peppermint's great. That's why they have it in restaurants when you leave. It's great for digestion. So if you put a drop of ginger or a drop of peppermint in a little tiny bit of water and drink it, your upset stomach might be, eradicated. Solved.
It's like an old remedy, but it's with the.
And remember, when people are in pain, they're so anxious. So I diffuse it in my office, and I will say by the time they leave, which is about 25, 30 minutes later, they're relaxed. No matter what, how they came in, how essential oils work on our limbic system, which is our emotional center in the sort of the front part of our brain. So very effective. And it's not suggestible. It works.
It works. Would you say that anxiety makes the pain worse?
Absolutely. When we are anxious, our sympathetic nervous system is revved up. When that is revved up, we perceive pain higher. So, you and I may have the same injury, but your perception is yours, and it's real. My perception's mine, and mine's real. It's not right or wrong, it just is. So anxiety always ramps up pain.
It's the anxiety of getting the pain and also not knowing what's going on, right? You can be worried that something is really wrong when maybe it's not that bad, but it makes it even worse.
Right. One of the things I like to encourage my patients to do is work with the facts, because I always say to them, and this is not my creation of words, but it's a great little saying. Worrying is praying for something you don't want to happen.
Oh, that's so. Say it again.
Worrying is like praying for something you don't want to have happen. So let's work with what we know, and also utilize the resources you've used in the past that were effective. You're not helpless. You have strengths within.
So tell me, what are the most the complaints that come back the more often? Is it back pain? Is it something you treat more chronic issues or traumas, accidents?
Well, I see patients who have acute pain, meaning it's new onset, or chronic pain. So, anywhere there's a muscle in a joint, there's a potential for pain. So the most common complaint, I would say, as we know across the board, is low back pain. And I think you may have heard this expression too: sitting is the new smoking.
Yes.
So if you can stand and work or walk around when you're on the phone, you're going to do yourself a big favor. Because when we sit, our intrinsic spinal postural muscles are not being activated. So just by standing, you're working your muscles. I actually just bought a used drafting table so that I can stand and do my writing.
Instead of sitting for hours.
Exactly. And they do make desks now that are very affordable, that are electrically powered, and they can go up so you can stand and work, or it'll go down and you can sit and work. Highly recommend them.
So you can change your position during the day.
That's right. That's right.
So, Dr. Meyer, tell me if a patient comes with a chronic pain, or what can he expect from you? What are you gonna? Because I know you don't have the same approach as a lot of other physical medicine specialists.
Well, I'm trained more complementary. I'm not the one you would come to for the invasive injections, such as the epidurals. However, if I feel someone does need it, I'll certainly refer them. When a patient comes to me, usually it's referred by a physician or a very good patient of mine, for instance, and I'll ask them, what do they think is causing the problem? I also ask them, what are their goals? Because I'm not there to cure them. I'm there to assist them heal themselves. So I do a complete inventory on, what happened, how long has it been going on, what have you tried, I ask them what they think potentially is aggravating it. I go through all the ergonomics, which means the biomechanics of their day. What kind of bed do they sleep in? What kind of car do they drive? What kind of chair do they use? How much
Because all the things are important, right?
Everything's important. For instance, someone will come in, common with a man, they'll come in and they'll have pain in their buttocks muscle and go down their leg, and I say, okay, where's your keys? Where's your wallet? And if they're sitting on it, you've been irritating that nerve, and it's a simple solution.
Yeah, but you don't think about it if nobody tells you.
Exactly. And just a mattress. Do you flip your mattress?
Why should you?
Because think about it. If you've been lying on a mattress for years and didn't turn it, or even months, you're getting an impression in that mattress that it's meant to be turned.
So I know what I need to do when I go.
Yeah, and a mattress lifespan is about 10 years. So if you got a 15-year-old mattress and you have pain, you may consider, going out. And I highly recommend trying out different mattresses multiple times. Do not buy based upon a commercial.
Okay.
It has to fit your body. It has to work for your structure.
So you cannot really say there's one that's best. It's according to each person is different, has maybe a different mattress that's going to work better. Yeah.
Everybody, and if you have a couple or you're sleeping with somebody, that person needs to be on it as well to try it out. Just like a medication. A medication, for instance, an anti-inflammatory, there's different brands. One may work for you, the other won't. I know which one works for me if I need one, and it's the only one I'll use. But if I'm going to take something of that nature.
So it's much more, I really like your approach, because you really have a conversation with your patient. It's not like, this is what you need to do and call me in a month. It's you're more involved, and they're getting more involved in their cure.
Well, you have to be invested in your own health, or it's not going to work. I think everybody knows that. And also, when they leave my office, I have a whole list of recommendations that they really need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a partnership. And when they come back,
you check?
I check.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely check.
And what kind of recommendations?
Well, let's start with nutrition. I have them put out write out for me a journal of what they've eaten, or they'll give me great examples of what's breakfast, what's lunch, what's dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's not about adding nutrients, although some are very much needed. It's about removing foods that are culprits. A lot of foods are inflammatory, and we know that now. That inflammation is the etiology, the source of much disease.
Mm-hmm.
So when you remove things that create inflammation in your body, actually pain can go away. For instance, anything that with the word diet needs to be catapulted out of your life.
All right, so no Diet Coke.
Diet anything is irritating, inflammatory, and toxic to your joints and muscles. So just removing diet sodas from your life. If you had hand pain, for instance, I would probably guarantee you it's going to be gone unless you have some sort of autoimmune disorder or something. It could be gone within weeks.
Would you replace it by non-diet sodas or no sodas at all?
I don't recommend sodas at all, but water's a key. And there's a formula out there for how much water should I drink. When I ask people, how much water do you drink? The 99.9% of the time, the response is probably not enough. And I go, okay, how much water do you drink? Probably not enough. Why don't you give it to me in glasses or ounces or quarts, So there's a formula. If someone's a healthy person, meaning they don't have renal disease where they have to have a fluid limitation, or they're not in heart failure where they have to watch how much fluid they actually take in, the rule of thumb is take your body weight. So let's just say someone's 100 pounds.
Yeah, okay.
100 pounds, just say. Cut it in half, that's 50. That's how many ounces of water.
Okay.
Per day, per 24 hours. So you start in the morning and you go through the day. That is so simple to do.
Yeah, that's a great
That is
tip.
not a lot of water. For instance, I don't know if I can even read this, but
I don't know how much this is.
This is...
It's 17 ounces.
Okay, so 17 ounces. So you've gotten, just about a third of it right there.
3 like that per day.
Yeah, that's very simple to do.
And you don't include coffee in the morning. This doesn't count on your as your water intake, right?
Great question. Most people think, I drink a lot of juices, I drink a lot of tea, I drink a lot of coffee. But coffee, tea are diuretics, meaning you lose water.
You lose more water
when you do it. So if you do a coffee, or if you drink a glass of wine, you need to add another cup of water to that. Okay, so replete it with what you just drank.
Same thing with alcohol, right? You said
right.
Wine, yes.
Right.
Very interesting.
Yeah. I'm not saying don't drink coffee because, I love my cup of coffee in the morning, but I don't drink coffee all day.
No.
And always drink more water if you do drink coffees or teas.
And what are like the very obvious inflammatory food that we can think of, even if we don't have a pain? Maybe there are foods we should not.
Sure. The classic ones, thanks for asking that. Classic ones are dairy.
Okay.
For instance, milk. We've been ingrained to think milk is good for us. Remember the old commercials?
Yes.
But milk is good for baby cows. Unless you moo, I would not suggest drinking milk. It's very inflammatory. People if they remove inflammatory foods, their gastrointestinal tract won't be as bloated. If your gastrointestinal tract is in better condition, your body doesn't ache so much. So dairy.
And you put all dairies together, cheese. Yeah.
Yes. Dairy, wheat.
Okay.
Gluten, sugar is a huge culprit, very inflammatory. Eggs, peanuts, and soy.
Okay.
So across the board, I just say eliminate dairy, wheat, gluten, sugar. And now some people can do okay with eggs, but it's a good idea to remove it maybe for 3 weeks and then replace it one at a time to see how your body responds.
Okay.
Now, you need to replace them because someone says, okay, you're taking away my cheese or you're taking away my milk. What am I going to do? Well, if you're not allergic to almonds, almond milk is a phenomenal replacement, and it has calcium and D in it, so you're more than milk does. You can have quinoa instead of wheat. There's a huge amount. There's a huge amount of replacement foods.
Nowadays, it's much easier, I would think.
Yes. And it's easy to find the gluten-free bread, too. The common markets, the Trader Joe's, the Whole Foods, even the Ralphs and the Vons, they have the gluten-free breads.
Oh yeah, it's so easy. I had a friend back in France years ago, and she was diagnosed with celiac disease, and there was nothing available for her. It was so difficult that she couldn't go out.
Yeah.
So she had to bring her food. Now it's so easy. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm saying gluten is not good for us. You don't have to have celiac
No,
disease.
I understand. Yeah.
I know.
I was just saying that there was no alternative if you
right.
couldn't.
But now it's
it's everywhere.
They're very available. Yeah. Right.
And Dr. Meyer, tell me a little bit about your experience with homeopathy, if you don't mind, because this is my little.
Homeopathy is one of those beautiful treatments that I will use on patients. One in particular that I've been using for 20 years, even like before I learned about it in residency, is arnica, and arnica is a plant, and with homeopathy, as you know, it's diluted, but you never can eliminate the resonance energy of whatever that substance is, such as you can never get to zero when you divide something in half. You'll never get zero. So there's always something. So arnica is a great, either comes in a gel or a cream, comes in little pellets. And I use it for strains, pains, muscle aches, soreness, especially acutely. I love that. Like if someone did a weekend warrior, they were out running a marathon or out running a 10K, or just played softball with the guys or the girls, and their muscles are achy and sore, I will say jump in an Epsom salt bath, but I also say take arnica, 5 pellets under the tongue.
Actually, now that I remember, I think that's how we got in touch. I came to your office and you told me, arnica, of course, I've been using it for so long. I think that's how it started.
Right.
Yeah, it's a very interesting medicine.
Right, and the beautiful part of it is you don't have the side effects of the anti-inflammatories, but you're getting the anti-inflammatory effect. Anti-inflammatories are very tough on our kidneys and our gastrointestinal tract, causing ulcers.
Now, the more we learn about them, the more we become aware that, the less you use them, the better. But sometimes I guess you have to maybe refer to a surgeon. There are cases where you do need surgery or more drastic.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I would never say there's only one way of doing things. I will send patients to a surgeon when I know I can't make a difference, or we've gotten so far and we've tried, but the pain is unrelenting, and there's a surgical anatomical reason that needs to be corrected. So there's excellent, spine surgeons around, or knee replacement. I may do the treatments that I do, such as the kinesiotaping on the knee, or the injections
you did
in
that
the
on
knee.
me. I remember the kinesiotape.
What did we do?
The knee.
Oh yes. How did that work?
That worked really. That was great. I was amazed.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a technique that I've been using at least 15 years, and you've seen it in the Olympics now. That people have it on our athletes will have it on their shoulder, or it'll be coming out from under their shorts, the basketball players. But it's a technique that helps. We call neuromuscular reeducation. There's no medicine in it, but it enhances the communication between the nerves and soft tissue, the muscles, and it decreases swelling. And it's a beautiful treatment.
And the tape is very specific. I remember you showing it to me. It's very unique, and each tape is different, right?
There's a few varieties out now because it is not, the patent is off on it, and there's some excellent tapes. And it has an adhesive on the back that has sort of like a curvy linear pattern, like it goes up and down like a wave. And in that wave, when applied to the skin, it creates a little upward pull, like a little negative pressure, so swelling can go out of the body, versus the opposite, or ACE wrap will compress. This allows fluid to be removed through the lymphatic channel. So that's one of the techniques I use. So I'll use prolotherapy on a knee, I'll use the homeopathics, I may even use some anti-inflammatories. I rarely have to do a steroid injection because I've used the others that are very effective. But if that knee is really deteriorated and they're just hurting all the time, why wait? Go for the knee replacement.
And that's why what is so great about your practice is that you know all of those things, so you're not going to miss something that's more critical.
Right, and I think there's excellent surgeons at Cedars, orthopedic and the neurosurgical spine surgeons, as well as the orthopedic spine surgeons. So I have a great repertoire of
great
colleagues that I can refer to confidently.
And Dr. Meyer, is there a phone number or a place if someone wants to get in touch with you or learn about what you're doing? There.
Well, I would say for two facets. If you're if you're someone who's interested in how the natural essential oils work,
Mhm.
I'd be happy to have you visit my website, aromatherapydoctor.com. So
Mhm.
aromatherapydoctor, aromatherapydoctor.com. And you could email me at ann@aromatherapydoctor.com. Or my office is 310-473-5151. I'm located in West LA, near Federal Avenue, across from Brentwood.
Mhm. So on aromatherapydoctor.com, that's where people can learn about aromatherapy, but it's your website.
Well,
huh?
it's my website, and I educate them in 3 areas. I launched it this year. So health,
Mhm.
home, and pets, because it's multifactorial, and if your home is a beautiful environment and you actually are smelling these oils
Mhm.
by diffusing them, the energy in your home will be different.
Yes, it's very important.
Using the oils on pets that are agitated, it can really calm them down. You just put a drop or two on the pads of their feet or the tip of their ear, and you can really almost sedate a dog. You don't put them out, but you can, especially if you're traveling. The dog's traveling in a cage in the car, or they're going to be kenneled, or they're just barking. I've had some excellent success from patients. It was just sort of a side effect. I said, why don't you try this oil peace and calming on your little
That's the
Chihuahua?
that's the one you gave me.
I gave you that
it's
one.
So
That was an
wonderful.
excellent response. This lady had a little Chihuahua, and she says, do you have something for my dog? I said, yeah, try this. Came back the next time. She said, that was a miracle. So great. Good success.
And you said your home, your health, and your pets, right?
Right.
So, and it's aromatherapydoctor.com.
Yes.
And I hear, so we're gonna end this conversation with Dr. Ann Meyer. Thank you so much for being there. Would you give your phone number once again?
Sure. Thank you, Raphael. It's 310-473-5151.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back after those messages.
We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
Young Connection, your one-stop connection for all your graphic design and commercial printing needs. Young Connection is a full-service printing and media design company dedicated to providing the highest level of customer service and satisfaction. Young Connection provides swift response and rapid turnaround services for banners, brochures, business cards, letterheads, church bulletins, funeral programs, flyers, logo design, posters, and much, much more, all at an affordable price. Young Connection, the official printing company of LA Talk Live. Give them a call at 310-491-3336. That's 310-491-3336, or visit their website at www.youngconnection.com. That's www.youngconnection.com. Young Connection Printing and Media Services, proud sponsors of LA Talk Live, where it's more than just talk.
Hi, this is Susie Pruden. And yes, you've seen me on Oprah, Good Morning America, and The Today Show. And I'm inviting you to join me every Monday from 3 to 4 for my new show, Mastermind Live. Join us as we introduce you to the new thought leaders of the world who will inspire you, support you, and guide you to your next level. So don't forget to tune into Mastermind Live exclusively on latalklive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B or watch us on Ustream TV. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hi, I'm Onyx Monopoly, inviting you to join me every Monday at 11 a.m. for my new show, Hooked on Onyx, spreading motivation and inspiration through wisdom, experience, and music. So don't forget to tune in to Hooked on Onyx Mondays at 11 a.m. exclusively on LATalkLive.com, the LA Talk Broadcast Network. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio, TuneIn Radio, Live 365, Radio Flag, and AHA Radio, or watch and listen directly at LATalkLive.com. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening and viewing pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hi, this is Dr. Levi, your fitness doctor, making a personal house call, inviting you to join me Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific for my all-new show, The Dr. Levi Show. Join us as we discuss fitness, health, and well-being, including emotional and spiritual health. So don't forget to tune in to The Dr. Levi Show every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific, exclusively on LATalkLive.com and the Talk Live Broadcast Network. You can also catch us on iTunes, Radio R&B, or watch us on Ustream.tv, or catch us on the Live 365 network, and now on Radio Flag and Stitcher Radio. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
We're back. Thank you for tuning in to this edition of Here's to Your Health on the LA Talk Live Broadcast Network. I'm your host, Joshua Lane. We're now doing the Boron Homeopathic Medicine segment with my host, the registered pharmacist, Raphael Cohen-Bakri. Raphael, welcome to Here's to Your Health.
Thank you, Josh. It's good to be here.
Thank you. It's fun to have you on the show. So we're doing arnica. Arnica is the number one selling homeopathic preparation worldwide, I believe.
I believe so, yes.
And a lot of people know Arnica montana, but for those who don't, what does it do for me?
Yes, and I thought it would be a good, topic since we had Dr. Meyer on, and she talked about arnica and how she uses in pain management and physical medicine. It's a very popular medicine, but first of all, a lot of people don't know it's homeopathic.
Right.
Because it's so mainstream.
It is actually kind of nice, isn't it? It's kind of people know what it is now.
Yeah, and they use it, and they all, the one who know arnica really love it, because like we're going to see, there are no side effects, no interaction. Everything we do at Boron is very pure, so it's just the plant extract put in a gel, but there's no, additives or anything that can, interfere with anything else. So it's very high quality product. It's from the mountain daisy, which is a flower. It's a flower that you can find here and in the United States and in Europe, and it has been used for centuries because of its powerful action on trauma, swelling, and bruises. So you can use it in many different situations. We've talked about it many times, but a lot of plastic surgeons use it here in Beverly Hills, obviously, because of its action on the bruises and the swelling.
Okay, so we have talked about this, but the plastic surgeons, as the MDs in this community of LA, they use it on the patients. Why?
So they use it on the patient because they want a shorter downtime that is shorter and a recovery that's better. So their work shows better. If your patient has almost no bruises and no swelling, you appear to be a better surgeon, which is true.
No, wait. So we have a patient goes into the plastic surgeon, and instead of doing something on their face.
Mm-hmm.
So what do they do for their people? Well, they do everything, but so how would I use arnica? Pick an operation and then tell me how they use it.
Mm-hmm. So very often it's built in their protocol. The pre-op protocol, pre and post-op protocol. So for example, for nose surgery, which is a very sensitive area of the face. So they're going to tell the patients to start the arnica pellets for the systemic action, they're going to start the pellets 3 or 2 days before, at least 2 days, 5 pellets 3 times a day. So 2 days before, then they're going to have their surgery, and then they're going to carry on the same amount of arnica pellets 3 times a day for approximately a week. And they're going to add the arnica topical on the actual bruises, if ever there are some bruises, or if it's a little bit swollen, or just if it's sensitive. So the both together works really well. The pellets have that systemic general action. They're going to protect the capillaries, so you're going to have less bruises anyways. And the topical is going to complete the action of
the topical means I put it on my face.
Mm-hmm.
So if I was having what we commonly call a nose job, so I'm covered with bandages, so what do I do? What do I do with the arnica?
Well, you're gonna wait. The arnica pellets, you're gonna take them, all the time.
The little tiny pellets or the bigger pellets?
Those are the bigger pellets. I think we have one with here.
Okay, so the tablets in it. So those tablets, sorry, we can see that. So those tablets, I do what? 4 or 5 at a time?
5 pellets.
5 at a time.
And you put them under your tongue. Right. And you're gonna do that 3 times a day.
Right.
Then the gel you're going to put.
And that helps me internally have less bruising.
Yes.
And swelling. Okay.
Totally. It also has an anti-inflammatory action, so also for the pain, it's going to work very, very well. We always say don't put arnica gel or cream on a wound. What I hear usually when there are stitches, you're fine, but still better to put it around it. Now, a lot of nose surgeries are done, inside, so you don't have.
Oh, is that better? It's
opening.
More modern now?
Well, yeah, because you have no scars.
Right.
So there are a lot. The techniques are improving a lot, so there are less bruises, anyways. But the arnica is really helping the downtime and the recovery, and also it's more comfortable.
Now you are a registered pharmacist, and what school did you go to in France?
Université Paris Sud.
Right.
Paris Sud.
So okay. So you're a registered pharmacist, and you have been the educator for Boiron now for what, 5-6 years?
11.
Oh, I'm sorry.
10 actually.
10 years.
10.
Okay,
Yeah,
so that's a long time.
11.
So you would say that in the 10 years you've been kind of you've always done California territory?
Mm-hmm.
And do you see that people are kind of happy to see you now? Whereas 10 years ago they thought, who is this young woman? Who is this,
Well, plus, I had an even thicker accent, so I don't even know if they knew what I was saying, but no, definitely.
Was that a problem at one time?
I don't know. They were always very polite, but I'm just guessing. No, they're very, yes. A lot of people just call me now, because they heard about it, or a patient told them, I need arnica or I need other homeopathic medicine. Tell me about those. Or they bring a tube, like what we call a blue tube. They bring it to the physician and say, can I take it with your treatment? And the doctor doesn't know. So they're much more open-minded. They want to know what it is. Some doctors still don't want to prescribe it because they don't know enough.
Is because, they don't know enough, which is a fair reason not to, but also, is this within the accepted medical protocol now? Because again, something I always like to mention whenever we have this conversation, homeopathic medicines are sold as medicines in the United States, and they're regulated as drugs by the Food and Drug Administration. Right. So people need to know that. People who are listening to Here's Your Health today may have never heard that before and think, oh, really? Oh, so this is homeopathic medicine. This is not herbal medicine. No. Herbal medicine, lovely, but no, this is homeopathic medicine regulated by the FDA as drugs, so you make specific claims, and it has been so since the 1930s.
1938, yes. And that's very true. A lot of people, when they first hear what I'm doing, they say, oh, no, I take homeopathy. I say, oh, that's great. What do you take? And they tell me about things that are not at all. They think it's holistic.
Right.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah, which is, it's very interesting, but it's just two different things. So no, definitely the interest is growing. There are a lot of very legitimate physicians who are looking into it, wanting to add it to what they already do, which is just great. It's an additional tool, and people need to know more about it.
Right, right. And you also, I know you mentioned to me that on the Arnicare, a lot of the soccer teams use arnica. You watch them on camera, kind of using arnica. So, and when athletes use it, people respect athletes, and so they see the athlete doing it, and they think, okay, we can use that too. So that's also very good. So in Europe, arnica is very big as well in Germany, France.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, all over Europe for the same reason, because it works very fast, and they don't have any side effects. It's non-doping, non-stimulating, so they can take it even though they're going through competitions. So athletes really like arnica and all homeopathic medicines for the same reason. They have a cold before competition, that there's very little they can take besides homeopathy.
Right.
So it's very mainstream in Europe, but here it's growing very fast. And arnica is only one of the medicine you can take for joint pain or trauma. It's the most popular one, but there are a lot that you can add when you have a little bit. Well, I would always take arnica, but you can add, for example, and actually I've been talking to a lot of people lately who are suffering from leg cramps.
Oh, leg cramps.
And
Oh, yes.
very little you can do, right? When you have those, it can be related to physical activity, or it can just happen. You don't really know what. It can be for people who are very active, people who are not, older, younger people. So there are a lot of things you can do. You can, of course, drink a lot of water, because very often dehydration causes it, or lack of magnesium. There are a lot of factors. But other than that, as far as medicines, I don't know anything you can really take. But there's one homeopathic medicine that works really well. Again, totally safe. It's called cuprum metallicum, which is a dilution of copper.
What's it called again?
Cuprum metallicum, which means the metal copper. And if you're very prone to those spasms, those cramping in the legs, they usually happen at night, very painful, very intense. It will go away eventually, but it's really painful. It wakes you up. So if you're getting those, take your cuprum at dinner. 5 pellets under your tongue at dinner. You can even take 5 more when you go to bed. And if ever they occur, take 5 pellets when it happens. And little by little, you're gonna see less and less.
Okay.
So it's
leg cramping catches people by surprise.
It
People
is,
really
and
don't like that.
it's very intense. And you don't really know. Well, there are some things you can do, stretching your foot back, but sometimes it just doesn't go away.
And the medication to go is called cuprum metallicum.
Cuprum metallicum, which is a medicine for spasm. So you can use it. It's very effective in a hiccup.
Huh?
And there's some people get hiccup for a long time, and again, there's nothing you can do really.
So what do I use for hiccup again?
Cuprum metallicum.
Because hiccup is always kind of a funny thing to talk about, because the physicians don't know why it occurs. And they don't really have a remedy, right? They don't have a remedy for hiccup. So it's always a kind of a fun conversation with them, because people say, I have hiccuping, and the answer is, we don't know why. We don't know what to do there.
Yeah, it will go away, but sometimes it lasts a long time, and I'm guessing it's a spasm, so it's probably related to the same, maybe a electrolyte imbalance, maybe dehydration, maybe anxiety. We don't really know, but we know that cuprum works really, really well for that.
Now, this Arnica montana lotion, so if I play a lot of tennis and hurt my elbow, I can put it on pretty much on a regular basis, or before I play tennis or after I play tennis, I can just use it when I feel I need it?
Yeah, use Arnica every time. Every time there's inflammation, pain, trauma, you can use Arnica. That's the first thing you need to think about. But if you have tennis elbow, there's another medicine that you can add. It's called Ruta. It's from a plant, Ruta, R-U-T-A. The full name is Ruta graveolens, and that's a
What's the full name?
Ruta graveolens. It's a Latin name for the plant, the root. But the great thing about this medicine, it's specific of the tendon. So the target for that medicine is the tendon, and especially at the insertion point, the tendon with the bone. So that's what homeopathy is about. It's very accurate. If you have that very specific pain, you can almost, pinpoint it. Ruta is going to work very well. It's going to take a little while, because very often tennis elbow is chronic, especially if you keep playing tennis. It's going to be, it's going to take longer. But that's an excellent method. You combine Arnica for the inflammation, for sometimes it's even swollen, and Ruta, you're going to get amazing results, which you won't get with an anti-inflammatory. The anti-inflammatory is just going to mask what's going on, but it's not going to treat the tendon or So it's very interesting. Yes, arnica, first thing you need to think about. And then if you have a physician who's knowledgeable in homeopathy, they're going to be able to treat you really well.
Mm-hmm. Well, and what else can I use for, say, athletic injuries besides Arnica montana?
So there are a lot of medicines for either acute pain or chronic pain, arthritis.
What can we do for, let's say, an athlete thinks, oh, I hurt my neck here a little bit. It's from playing basketball or whatever, but really it's not from basketball. They have a little bit of arthritis. So arnica might be good for a little pain. Might be good.
Like we said, arnica, you always take it, regardless of what the problem is. It's going to help with the inflammation and the tenderness, the muscle stiffness. But then you're going to add something according to the specific symptoms for that patient. I have an example. Let's say you said a neck issue, a knee issue. We don't react. Each of us reacts differently. Mm-hmm. For example, I'm sure you heard that some people tell you, even with arthritis, which we cannot really cure, but we can help with the pain. But very often you hear people, older people telling you, when I wake up, I'm in such a pain, I cannot move, it's horrible. But then when I start moving, I feel better. And other people are going to tell you the opposite. I wake up, I'm fine, and the more I move, and suddenly the pain is coming, and I just need to rest, and then that's how I get a relief. So it makes sense that you're not going to address those two patients with the same medicine,
right?
Because they don't have the same symptom, they don't react to the issue the same way. So I know I'm giving you a lot of names, but it's just to show you how it works.
Yeah, I'd like to, I don't know the subject, and you obviously do.
So someone who complains about those that person needs to rest a lot. So, and maybe compressing the area that's painful. That's how they get a relief. That's going to be a very good indication for homeopathic medicine. That's called bryonia. So it's
bryonia.
Bryonia. It's from a plant. Also.
What plant is that from?
It's a bryony. That's the English. Yes. Okay. I think we use the root.
Okay.
There are so many plants that we're using, but this is very typical. If someone tells you, I feel better when I stay still and I put pressure on the area that's painful. So you're gonna give arnica and bryonia for that specific pain. And for the other patient who's going to tell you, no, I feel better once I get moving, and when I'm getting active, it's the pain goes away. And it's when I rest and when I wake up, especially when I wake up after all that the night not moving, that the pain is worse. So this is very similar in pain and symptoms, but the description is different. What makes it better is different. So this is going to be a patient that will benefit from Rus toxicodendron, which is the poison ivy.
Rus tox is poison ivy?
Yes.
Oh, I did not know. It's interesting.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And
no, so people listening to Here's Your Health today, and they hear you speaking about this subject with authority, since you are a registered pharmacist and educated for boron. So Rus tox, which is derived from poison ivy, wouldn't that be bad for me? Why is it the homeopathic items are good for me and not bad for me?
Well, because the principle that's behind homeopathy, that's in the name actually. It's like cures like.
Like cures like. Okay.
So meaning a substance in nature that would cause very similar symptoms that you're experiencing. If you take that substance in nature and dilute it, many times and make it into a homeopathic medicine, that medicine is going to treat those very same symptoms. So that's why Rus toxicodendron, if you get, if you touch poison ivy and you get the hive and the itchiness, you can take Rus toxicodendron because it cures the same symptoms it would create.
You mean if I had poison ivy, which is not a joke. Poison ivy is very upsetting. So I could take Rus tox and it would suppress it. Is that it? Oh, that's great. So okay. Tell the audience, if someone gets poison ivy, what do I do?
So you get Rus tox
Rust in the tablet form?
In the pellets.
In pellets.
Yes. Yeah, that's the only way to take it, the most common way. And you take 5 pellets maybe every 10 minutes at the beginning. And when
you
see
for the first hour?
Yes. But very often it's for an hour, and then you're going to see the symptoms disappear little by little. That's when you can increase the time between the intakes.
Because people do make these occasional poison ivy jokes, but if you get poison ivy, boy, you're real uncomfortable.
It's
really not any fun.
It's not a joke, no.
So let me have the cure again for poison ivy.
So rust toxicodendron, 5 pellets, let's say every 10 minutes for an hour, and then you can take it every 2 hours, and then maybe.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So that's how cures I always give this example of Coffea cruda, which is the coffee bean.
Coffea cruda, yeah.
And that's a great medicine for sleeplessness, which makes sense because coffee prevents you from sleeping. So
it does.
So homeopathic medicine made from coffee is going to cure what coffee would do to you.
So we were using a very dilute solution of the coffee cruda. Now, some people hearing this broadcast today on Here's Your Health might think, oh, we never heard that before. I'm sure some people are still very skeptical. And so what's the historical background on this? Who was the physician who worked on it, and how long has it been around?
So, more than 2 centuries. So it's nothing new. It has been around for a long time. It was very popular here. It was invented by a German physician, Dr. Hahnemann, and his students spread the word here in the United States, and it was very popular. Then there was some political issues or competition, and it
faded away for a while.
Yeah, it faded away. But now it's coming back a lot. And skepticism is fine with me. It doesn't matter. At least just read about it, experience it on yourself if you want, and make up your mind. But it's a shame just not to, be open and and see what's going on, but don't shut it down because it seems different from what you hear. It has been, it has a lot of history, a very good record of, efficacy and no non-side effects. So it's worth, looking into.
Right, so no side effects, right. It's regulated by the FDA as medicine. What can we use for beauty? What can I use, for example, to make my hair grow faster? What do you got?
This is not something homeopathy.
Doesn't do that?
No,
okay.
Not really. What homeopathy can do when you're talking to a physician who has been really well trained, they're gonna give, if you come with acute problem, they're gonna treat it the acute problem.
An acute problem means happening right now.
Right now, and that that is not supposed to last very long, but it's bothering you at this.
So a cold, that counts
acute,
as an acute problem, right?
Now someone with allergy, constant allergy, that's going to be more considered as a chronic problem.
Right. Mm-hmm. So if someone has emphysema, that's not an acute problem, it's a long-term problem.
Yes. Okay. And so what the good physician trained in homeopathy is going to do is going to take care of your acute complaints, but also look at the whole picture and try to find the medicine that's going to put you back in balance so you don't get those issues. So that's when homeopathy becomes really interesting.
So the homeopathic physician, they feel it's their role to correct an imbalance rather than just mask a symptom.
Yes.
They're going to say to you, okay, you have this problem because it's lifestyle related or nutritional or whatever it is, and by giving you these homeopathic medicines, we're going to correct the problem.
Mm-hmm. So you don't get sick as often, so that's how maybe we can help with the beauty and everything, but it doesn't really work this way. Yeah.
Right. It's more of a wellness thing. It's not really It's not a remedy for making my hair grow faster. Too bad, unfortunately. Maybe you could work on that, Raphael.
Yeah, maybe we can patent something together.
Mm-hmm. I also noticed you brought calendula ointment.
Well, calendula, it's because it's also a very popular medicine, but I was more thinking about athletes and people. I don't know. We just had the marathon
we did,
2 weeks ago, I think. So, a lot of those runners are going to benefit from arnica for obvious reasons. But calendula ointment or calendula lotion, even the gel, those are great for all the blisters you can get. Every time the skin is damaged and you need a healing ointment, calendula is really number one. Or I think you call it chafing Also, when
Chafing, yeah.
yes, which again, it's not a.
I like the way you pronounce it because it's good.
Well, because I heard chaffing and then chafing. So
chafing. I've heard chafing.
Yeah.
Really.
So same thing, it can really, if you run for a long time and you're starting to get those either blisters or the skin becomes raw. This is because of the clothes, rubbing the skin, and it can be really painful, or the inside of the side also when you run a lot with the sweat. It can really be uncomfortable. So I would, even if you might get those, you can even put the calendula ointment before.
Oh, preventatively.
Yes,
so if you're going to run a marathon, which, I respect the marathon runners. I mean, that's a real physical effort to do that. You take a lot of training. I'm not sure it's really a great thing to do. It might be, but certainly I respect them for doing it. But it's good if they prepare and so they don't have too much downside from that.
Well, plus it would be a shame to stop the marathon because you have that kind of issue, even though
because you're having chafing. It doesn't sound very, very macho, does it?
It doesn't, but it's really the underarms. The skin can be like a wound, really, really raw and very sensitive. So if you put calendula ointment before, like a lubricant almost, so it doesn't rub as much, you're gonna, and plus it's a healing product. So use it on those areas. You can also use it on the toes, because you can get those blisters also especially with new shoes.
Sure.
It's a wonderful healing products. We use it a lot for burns, any kind of dermatitis. A lot of our cancer patients, who have to go through radiotherapy, they get those also dermatitis, those burns. And again,
it helps out a little bit.
A lot, yes. A lot of my cancer centers, they swear by it. They use especially the ointment and the lotion right after the treatment, the session.
Nice to hear. Oh my goodness.
Well, it doesn't seem, when you have cancer, maybe you don't think it's a big deal to get, dermatitis, but it doesn't help with the compliance. You and that's what you need to do. You need to stick to your treatment. So everything we can do to help with the side effects, I think it's helping the patient to be more comfortable and go through it, a little bit more smoothly. So yes, calendula for all those burns. You use it after each session for the whole course of the radiotherapy. It helps a lot. Apparently, they compared it to other medicine, and this is the one that they like the most.
So you have calendula ointment, and is there also gel? Is the ointment a little thicker?
Yes, it's thicker and it's a little bit greasy. So some people don't like, can stain the clothes. So
I see.
Yeah, so use it at night. Yeah, but it's during the day. So you can use it at night and use the lotion during the day because it penetrates better and quicker. Especially if the area is kind of large, I would use the lotion. And it's even more, there's more calendula extract in the lotion than in the ointment. So it's a good choice too.
And let's say we're working with a lifeguard and he or she's out of doors a lot and they get dry skin, their lips get a little chapped. What can they put on their face to protect their face from too much sun?
Well,
can you use calendula?
Calendula afterwards. Definitely on the lips, or if you have a sunburn, that's a must. But it's not. There's no sunscreen.
No, not a sunscreen. No.
So don't use it before. It's much better to put a sunscreen on. And if you do get a little bit of sunburn, use calendula ointment or lotion several times at night.
So for sunburn, the calendula is still kind of the best choice.
Best choice. And again, you can add some homeopathic medicines like the pellets. There are a few that you can use that helps with the heat sensation and the redness, the itchiness, the swelling, and those are very common ones like belladonna and apis, and those are going to help with all those.
Oh yes, you introduced me to apis. Apis is for insect stings?
Yes, and it's a bee sting. It's a bee venom, sorry, for any kind of edema.
That sounds great. Well, Raphael Cohen-Bakary, it's been a pleasure having you on Here's to Your Health.
Thank you. Pleasure is mine.
And so Raphael Cohen-Bakary is the educator for Boron Homeopathic Medicines. And Boron Homeopathic Medicines are sold at Whole Foods, at Sprouts, at Mother's, all the stores, and also at many pharmacies now and grocery stores. And I'd like to thank you for tuning in to this edition of Here's to Your Health. I'm your host, Josh Lane, and we'll see you next week.
We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.